The following is a special production of WOBL and WDLW Sports.
Your home for high school football.
Week 2 of the high school football season is upon us. Week 1 gave us some insights. We'll take a look at the highs and lows from last week and get you set for this week. This is the Stewart's TV and Appliance pregame show. Shop smart, shop local, shop Stewart's TV and Appliance in Elyria. I'm Sports Director Don Vincent. The Lorain County League got off to a rough start last week. Just 2 winners in Week 1's out-of-conference games. Keystone and Columbia both showed a lot of promise on both sides of the ball. The rest of the league struggled, although Clearview was just a 1-score loss to Fairview. The SWC teams fared a little bit better. 5 of the 8 were winners. Avon Lake lost by only 1 point to a D1 Strongsville team. North Ridgeville, Amherst, Midview, and Avon were all pretty dominant in Week 1. Lorain found that this season may be a bit of a challenge in a Week 1 loss. Vermilion grabbed a Week 1 win, and EC impressed in a loss to Bishop Hartley. This week, we'll continue play with non-conference games, including a couple rivalry games and an out-of-state game. That out-of-state game is up first after a convincing Week 1 win over St. Ignatius. Avon traveled south, way south, to take on 1-0 Spruce Creek. The Eagles struggled a bit against a very good Hawks club for their first loss of the season. We'll go through the rest of the schedule this week in a different order. 1-0 Amherst is on the road for their Week 2 matchup against Buckeye. The Bucks also won their Week 1 game. After a tough loss, though, it's hard to pick against the Comets in this one. Avon Lake coming off a tough loss last Friday has the opportunity to bounce back against the Lake Catholic. I have a feeling this one's going to be close, maybe a 1-score difference. Brookside stays home for the second time this early season. Woodridge comes in off a strong showing last week and likely continues that this week. The Clippers host Westlake. The Demons only won 2 games last year, and the Midview Middies smacked them around a bit last week. Call this one close, a score or less. Columbia hosts Fairview. Last week was good for both, but I think the Raiders continue their winning ways. Elyria Catholic, after that road trip loss last week, heads east to take on Mayfield. The second of 3 roadies to start the season. This one will be closer for the Panthers, but Mayfield is a bit stronger. We mentioned Midview earlier with that win over Westlake. They are on the road against North Olmsted. This could be a convincing win over the Eagles. North Ridgeville played North Olmsted last week and smoked them. The Rangers have Valley Forge this week, and the result will likely be the same. The Oberlin Phoenix head to Brooklyn. Do not count Oberlin out of this one. This is a winnable game for Coach Washington and his Phoenix. Mapleton pulls into Wellington this evening. I like the Dukes to pick up their first win tonight. Just for the sake of evaluating, Lorain County teams went 7-10 against out-of-county competition. Most of those wins were SWC teams. I'll try to keep up with those numbers throughout the season. It kind of gives you an idea of how things will work in the playoffs. That brings us to our games on the Lorain County Sports Network tonight. Let's start with the stream games on YouTube. Search Lorain County Sports Network. We have 2 for you. Bull Barge is back in Week 2 along with Max Drummond. They travel south to Sullivan to cover the Pirates hosting Northwestern. Both teams took rough losses last week, which means both will be hungry and in search of some validation, although I really believe the Pirates find win number 1 at home. Dave Rivera and Jared Viancourt will be in LaGrange. Cloverleaf is in town to play Keystone's Wildcats. The Colts struggled in Week 1 against the Buckeyes and ended up getting blanked and giving up 41. It should be a good night in LaGrange after the game. On the
Welcome back into the Stewart's TV and Appliance pregame show. We're getting you ready for kickoff tonight between the Black River Pirates and the Northwestern Huskies. Time to catch up with the coaches now in our Buckeye Community Bank Coaches Corner today and tomorrow. Your partner for growth, that's Buckeye Community Bank. Steve Carosa joins us right now. He's the head coach of the Northwestern Huskies. Coach, thank you so much for giving us some of your time, and let's dive right in. You guys are coming off a loss against Keystone last week, but you were telling me before we started recording, you guys actually picked up a handful of kids after week one. So tell us what kind of roster you've assembled here and what kind of group of kids you have.
We obviously saw 33 kids, and after the game one, we had some kids on Saturday come up to me and decide that they wanted to be a part of our football team. So it's been because some of these kids that are coming up, after they finish their acclimation, those are going to be kids that can be definitely contributors to us, but having more kids during the week this week to play and be on scout and stuff and have a better look on scout has definitely, made our team better throughout this week. Obviously we're still young, so we're still working through some kinks because every young team, as talented as you are, have those moments where you have to reel it in a little bit and fix the little small things. But it's been pretty exciting to see how much just from camp to start of week two, how much these kids have grown, matured, and locked in a lot more. So it's been exciting to see, and we're excited to see where we can grow once we are able to play our, other 5 kids that have joined the team.
Let's talk about some of these kids specifically, Coach. You guys run a spread offense, and you're putting the ball in the hands of a sophomore quarterback, Leonardo Guidetti. And tell us about him. What has made him stand out not only in the first week, but the first few weeks of practice as well?
He's just a very high football IQ kid. Again, young, so he's going to have his moments, but he's definitely a very confident quarterback in and out of the pocket. The team player actually was named captain. First time as me as a head coach. I've had a sophomore be voted as a captain, so it's a kid that is a leader both on and off the field. But I think, he makes the right decisions more times than he doesn't, right? We're still, again, he's a sophomore quarterback, first year playing, basically his freshman year for him because he broke his arm last year, first week of the season. So not having him be able to work on those things throughout the season, last season, like this is his first time through, but he's picked up the offense really well, learned a lot from Isaac Bune. Last year he was a really good quarterback for us, and he's just made immense strides throughout the year. But again, the biggest thing for him is he's a leader, and he controls and commands his offense. And that's, helped us out a lot, whether it was in our scrimmages, in practices. He's making sure that guys are doing the right things. If a receiver can't remember something, he's the one that's out there telling them, hey, this is what you got to do or whatever. So it's been really good to see that he's taken that step forward, become a leader, because it was big shoes to fill with a kid like Isaac and how good he was, and he's doing a really good job doing that this year.
What do you like about that group up front that's protected him so far?
I think obviously we are young up front, but these are kids that are determined. They're anchored by our senior 3-year starter, Jacob Ebert, at left tackle, 6'3", 285-pound kid, pretty strong kid, really works hard, really, really smart kid, can tell you our offense in and out. And then we have 2 freshmen that stepped up with our center, Eller Brock, and left guard Maddox May, who are both over 200 pounds as freshmen, both big weight room kids. So it's exciting to see how much they've grown and come along, these last few weeks and months of training and everything like that. And then, we've had an injury to one of our seniors. He should be back this week, Travis Thompson. Having him back will help us out because we've had to kind of mix and match there last week with him being out. But I think they've just taken a step forward. The kids from last year, to this year. And then the new kids have bought into what we're trying to do, and they're making the right strides, right? Not perfect, but we're doing the right things to help us carry momentum. And I think as the weeks go along this year, you're going to see immense improvement from them because they're a unit that works together. They go eat together. They are hanging out together. They're doing all the things, watching film together, all the things that are the right thing to do to carry momentum each week and build those bonds that you need as an offensive line. Because in my opinion, the most important part of an offense and a defense is your line.
And, of course, you're taking on the Black River Pirates tonight, a team that's also coming off of a Week 1 loss. Coach, what are some big keys to a victory for Northwestern in your mind as you guys take on Black River this evening?
We really need to be able to stop the run. Black River has been notorious for having great running backs this year with number 8 and number 24. And if Hopick is back from injury, them having him as well as a threat in the offensive game with their run game is huge because those are all great running backs. I mean, watching film, you can see how powerful they are, how quick they are. They're north and south runners, which is, great to see for them, but, something that we need to be able to stop. And then also being able to stop number 12 on the outside there. He's a really good wide receiver. I know he was a quarterback last year playing wide receiver now, big, tall kid, strong kid, fast kid. Those are some of the keys that we have to be able to, hone in on and be able to stop on tonight to be successful.
Well, Coach Carrozza, we appreciate the time so much. Thank you for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck against Black River this evening.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. Again, that's Northwestern Huskies head coach Steve Carrozza joining us on the Buckeye Community Bank Coaches Corner today and tomorrow. Your partner for growth. That's Buckeye Community Bank. We'll step aside and take a quick time out here in the Stewart's TV and Appliance pregame show and come back with more after this on our Lorain County Sports Network Game of the Week. Welcome back into the Stewart's TV and Appliance pregame show, getting set for kickoff tonight between Black River and Northwestern. Time to catch up with the coaches on the Buckeye Community Bank Coaches Corner today and tomorrow. Your partner for growth, that's Buckeye Community Bank. And we're talking with Black River head coach Kyle Clark. Coach Clark, always great to catch up with you. Let's dive right in here. You guys are coming off a Week 1 loss against Hillsdale, a very tough opponent in Week 1. Coach, what were some things that you liked that you saw from your team in the first week of the season?
I like the way they executed with our plays and our defense. I thought our defense executed the best out of everything. I know we had a lot of legal procedures on offense, which could have been those Week 1, could have been the opponent. I don't know. But I liked the way we competed, and then we came out of that game healthy, which was nice.
Let's talk about your freshman quarterback, Dominic Bell. 5'11", 170 pounds. You guys running the spread also, so certainly a lot falls on his shoulders. How has he handled that, not only in the Week 1 game against Hillsdale, but in the weeks leading up to that in practice?
I mean, he's stepped in there and hasn't missed a beat. He definitely has a really good head on his shoulders. He's very confident and just a phenomenal athlete all around, 3-sport athlete. So he's been in a lot of those scenarios in all the different sports, and he understands the offense, and you could tell him things one times, and he's got it, and just really nice to watch him progress.
Taking a look at that group of receivers that he has to throw to, Coach, there is just all kinds of experience there, seniors all across the board. What stands out when you take a look at that group?
Well, Zane Bungard there, I mean, at 6'3", 190, he's a matchup problem for a lot of people, or at least I hope he is. And he's had a phenomenal summer, and then good scrimmages. I think he was close to 100 yards receiving last game. So he's our number one threat. But I mean, Bryce and Austin there, they could take it to the house any opportunity they get as well. And they're good route runners, and and smart kids, and they block well. So it's kind of a really, really good mixture of kids that we have there that could take advantage of defenses, I think.
Well, let's talk about that group up front, because I know Black River teams are always very, very stout in that offensive line. As you examine that group, what excites you about that group of offensive linemen?
Well, they got a lot of grit to them, and then they're very athletic. So it's easy to say that they're probably the most athletic offensive line I had. 4 of them could be playing guard for us. That's how good they are. And they're not big guys. I mean, I think our tallest guy is 5'9", and we're not very heavy, but they're able to move people, but they're also able to get there and latch on people in space, which is something we haven't had in the.
Now let's take a look at your defense, Coach. You guys run that 3-4, and you certainly have some big athletic linebackers. You guys are also pretty deep up front, it looks like, as well. What do you like about what you have defensively?
I like the way they attack practice each week, and they're always flying for the ball, and we kind of saw that in our scrimmages in our first game, that we had a lot of hats on the ball. So they're a hungry group that always getting after it, but they're smaller. I mean, we don't have a ton of big guys, so we're moving people all around and angling left, angling right, looping, doing whatever we can to get as much movement and penetration as we can. And then our DBs are really good. Outside linebackers, middle linebackers are really good. And we're just trying to get those guys in the best position possible.
Of course, tonight you guys are taking on Northwestern, a team that's also coming off of a Week 1 loss. As you take a look at those guys on paper and on film, what are some things that they do that concern you a bit going into tonight's matchup?
We have a very athletic quarterback that could buy a lot of time if we don't get to him and get their breaking down and things like that, because he could scramble all over, and then him and our receivers have really good chemistry. So when he starts scrambling, they start finding the pockets in the defense, and they can make some really big gains and take advantage of lack of tackling on the quarterback. So we definitely got to take care of that type of business. And then it's Northwestern. Some of the stuff in our games historically have been some of the craziest games I've ever been part of. I think last year we had 3 touchdowns called back, ended up losing that thing. And then we've had where there's been 4 onside kicks in a game. It's just, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, everything gets thrown out the window when we play Northwestern.
That's the beauty of those Friday night lights. Well, Coach Clark, we appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck against Northwestern tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. Again, that's Black River head coach Kyle Clark joining us on the Buckeye Community Bank Coaches Corner. We'll step aside and take a quick timeout, and we'll come back with more after this on our Game of the Week on the Lorain County Sports Network. Lorain County's 4 horsemen ride again. Tonight, we're down in Sullivan, Ohio, where the Black River Pirates play host to the Northwestern Huskies, and we're happy to have this one for you on our Legacy Home Finance Game of the Week. Legacy Home Finance, your local, reliable, trusted lender. So happy to have you with us, Andy Bolbarch.
pleased, honored, and privileged to be joined alongside my comrades, my colleagues, and co-conspirators. Sam Sovacool working the camera. El Capitan, Edwin Vereen, he is the director and the color analyst for tonight. The great Max Drummond. So great to have you guys with us here for week number 2 of this high school football season. Man, I missed you guys last week.
Yeah, it was a blast. I did my best to try to fill in on your role, but it's great to have you back, Wolf.
Well, this should be an interesting matchup. 2 teams looking to recover from week 1 losses. Northwestern fell to Keystone. Black River, of course, fell to Hillsdale. So both teams come in hungry, Max.
They absolutely do. And, even though they were losses, those were some pretty quality teams, and they scheduled up in their non-conference. So it speaks to everything they can learn from those games.
Lots to go over here over the next 8 minutes or so on our pregame show, which is brought to you by Stewart's TV and Appliance. Shop smart, shop local, shop Stewart's TV and Appliance in Elyria. And this should be a really interesting matchup. We'll get to some of the keys to the game here in just a few moments. We heard from both coaches on our Buckeye Community Center Coaches Corner. And here in just a few moments here, we're going to step aside for our national anthem, which is brought to you by the United States Air Force. A terrific rendition of our national anthem. Again, it's brought to you by the United States Air Force. Interested in being a recruit? Make sure you report to the Avon office. Andy Bolbart's joined alongside Max Drummond. I called this one for you. On the Stewart's TV and Appliance pregame show, we heard from both head coaches on the Buckeye Community Bank Coaches Corner. Max, let's take a look at our keys to tonight's game, brought to you by Williams Brothers Builders.
Well, and I think when we look at both of these rosters and a lot of the starters, it's a youth movement for both sides in a way. And I think the key is looking at each of these starting quarterbacks, as you've got a freshman in Dominic Bell for Black River, and you've got a sophomore in Leonardo Guidetti. And I think it comes down to who manages the mistakes or the adversity throughout the night, because when you have a young quarterback, you're going to run into some sort of negative plays or some problems here and there. And who's going to respond better and who's going to be able to help their team kind of recover from that and keep it moving.
Again, the keys are brought to you by Williams Brothers Builders, performing site work, concrete carpentry with our own forces. That's Williams Brothers Builders. Before we get too far along, let's take a look at our starting lineups. We begin with the Black River offense. Zane Bungard, a receiver, number 12, 6'3", 190-pounder. Also a receiver, number 2, 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, Bryce Murray. They've got another receiver and a tight end as they run the spread. Austin Paymer, number 11, a 5'11", 160-pound senior. The tight end is number 3, Cage Petruzzi, 5'11", 190. Along the offensive front, left tackle number 57, Jack Van Cooney, a junior, 5'9", 190. Left guard, Trenton Dulesky, 5'9", 180-pound sophomore. The center is Jamison Triplett, 5'9", 230. He's a senior. At right guard, a senior, 5'9", 210 pounds, Gianni Bonetti. And the right tackle is number 70, Colton Moskell. He's a junior, 5'7", 245. In the backfield, a freshman quarterback, Dominic Bell, at 5'11", 170. And the tailback, number 8, Hunter Varney, a sophomore, 5'8", 150. Let's take a look at that Northwestern defense that they'll be going up against.
Yeah, we'll start up front as at the defensive end spot, Tim Spencer, a 6'2 junior. And then on the inside, we've got Jacob Ebert, as well as Travis Thompson, both seniors. And then the defensive end on the opposite side will be Braden Swank, a 6'2 sophomore, moving up to the linebackers. You got Colt Hall, a 5'10", 170 sophomore. Landon Ellerbrock, number 56, a 5'10", 220 freshman. And Ethan Lilly, a 5'8", 145-pound senior, wearing 32. And in that secondary, you have the likes of Jesse Hanshaw, as well as Riley Ramsey at the corner spots. And then the pair of safeties are Grady Ellerbach, as well as James Cassidy.
We'll take a look at the other side of that coin a little bit later on, but there's a lot of the same names. Two smaller schools. A lot of these guys will indeed play both ways. Starting lineups brought to you by Garrick's Tavern. Post-game meals taste better at Garrick's Tavern, in Grafton. Max, let's take a look at the weather conditions for this one. It feels fall-like, my friend.
You're absolutely right. It doesn't feel like week 2 at all, and right now we're hanging out in the low 60s. And with the wind that's happening right now in almost no sunlight, as that's going to be setting sooner rather than later, it feels like 58.
Feels like 58. Let me tell you, I busted this sweatshirt out. I didn't think I was going to need the hoodie until like maybe week 6 or 7,
right.
But we need it right away here in week 2. All right, let's take a look at our officials. The referee crew brought to you by Stringer, and Gazer. Drove by there earlier today, as a matter of fact. Personal injury, family law, and workers' compensation cases, call Stringer, and Gazers. The referee is Troy Carter. Umpire is John Bischoff. Line judge Anthony Wildman. Linesman Don Ronyak. Center judge Robert Coe. And the back judge is Christopher Horry. Coin toss went down just a little while ago, my friend, did it not?
It did. In fact, Black River choosing to defer to the second half after winning the toss, and we're going to see the Huskies move from left to right here on the camera once the game begins, heading towards the scoreboard.
Coin toss brought to you by the Lorain County Visitors Bureau, celebrating 200 years together. That's the Lorain County Visitors Bureau. The weather and field conditions brought to you by the Lorain County Clerk of Courts, Tom Orlando, a proud sponsor of high school athletics. Time to take a look at that injury report, and thankfully, the news is pretty good for both teams. No major injuries on either side. The only person missing in action in this one is Jace Hopek. He was out last week. He's out again this week for Black River. Travis Thompson, a senior lineman, returns for Northwestern. He missed the opener last week. Again, the injury and update report brought to you by Illyria Jewelry and Repair, treating customers like family. We've gone through all of that. Only one thing left to do. Let's kick this thing off here in a few moments. The captains met at the 50-yard line just a little while ago. Team captains are brought to you by North Coast Insurance Group. Robert H. Garcia, your local Allstate agent in Avon. The captains for Northwestern: number 1, Riley Ramsire; number 2, Leonardo Guidetti; number 7, James Cassidy; 32, Ethan Lilly; and number 70, Jacob Ebert. Captains for Black River: they've got Zane Bungard, number 12, Bryce Murray, number 2. They have one of their offensive linemen in there as well, and that is Gianni Bonetti. Colton Moskal, the right tackle, is also one of their captains, and they also have Paymer in there as well. So Austin Paymer rounds out that list of 5 that they have as far as the captains go for Black River. In just a few moments, we'll kick this thing away, Max, and we're counting down the minutes now. Actually, we're counting down the seconds as we're inside of 60 seconds to play in this one. Opening kickoff will be brought to you by Lorain County Community College. Kick off your future with LCCC. That's Lorain County Community College. Well, this has been a long time coming for me. You guys kind of got to wet the palate a bit last week when you were in North Ridgeville. But this is one I think that should be really interesting. Both teams coming off of a loss last week, but both teams, Max, playing very tough teams last week as well.
Yeah, and I think obviously to have the measuring stick be that in week 1, it's not always going to tell the whole story. And this was a game that was very close last year. 28-21 ball game ended up going the way of Northwestern, ended up being their lone win on the season. So, Black River wants to get some revenge on that.
Always great to come on down to Sullivan. Made the trek straight down 301 and then all the way across County Road 83 up to Black River High School. Came here a couple of times during the high school basketball season. It's been a couple of years since I was last here for a football game. The last time I was here, Black River pulled off a shocker, taking down Columbia at the end of the season a couple of years ago. And Black River certainly looks a lot different than they did a few years back, running the spread. Who would have thought?
Yeah, and I mean, you read my mind. That was a fantastic game, and the field didn't look as clean as it does tonight here, as that game took place in late October, if I remember correctly. But it's definitely a beautiful, beautiful night here in Black River.
Back deep to receive the opening kickoff, it's Riley Ramsire, along with Jesse Hanshaw. Also back there is James Cassidy. Ball's teed up at the 40-yard line. We're ready to rock and roll here. The officials are still huddled at midfield. Jackson Burkholder handles the kicking duties for the Black River Pirates. Don't know if there's a communication issue or what the deal is, but all of the officials are huddled at the 50-yard line. Both teams are lined up, and they're ready to go. Maybe they needed one more fist bump? I don't know.
Huddle for warmth, get ready for the colder temps tonight, maybe.
We're all anxious and ready to go. Black River has one more non-conference game before they get into LC8 play 2 weeks from today. They've got Smithville next week. Hillsdale will play another LC8 team next week. They take on Columbia next Friday night.
I mean, talk about a non-conference slate. You get two of the best in the LCA right at the start of your season. That's testing yourself for sure.
Oh, no doubt about that. The ball's been on the tee for it feels like 5 minutes, and it finally fell over. Fitting. So they'll tee it up again, and we'll get ready to go again. Again, our pregame show today brought to you by Stewart's TV and Appliance. Shop smart, shop local, shop Stewart's TV and Appliance in Elyria. Now they've got it teed up and ready to go again. And they'll kick it away. And this will be retrieved by Hanshaw right around the 19-yard line. He's able to get up to about the 28, and then he is swarmed by a slew of black jerseys. So many different Black River Pirates hit on that stop. And they net not quite 10 yards on that kick return. Good coverage that time by Black River.
You got that right. Petruzzi as well as Varney both stepping up there. And, I mean, with the limited roster sides that obviously have to work with, you got to bank on some of your starters and, in that case, best players making some big plays on special teams.
Sophomore quarterback Leonardo Guidetti leads the way for this Northwestern offense. Jesse Hanshaw, the tailback, he'll be off his right hip, and they've got a four-receiver look. Guidetti calling for that shotgun snap. He gets it, throws right side for Hanshaw, makes the catch, and he's pummeled at the 24-yard line. He was stuck right after he made that catch. Austin Paymer come up from the safety spot, and he put a big hit on him for a loss of one.
Yeah, great pursuit to get to the ball, and that was thanks to his partner up there, Zane Bungard, forcing a throw out a lot quicker than I think Guidetti wanted to. And, I mean, it looked like Hanshaw barely had time to turn around for that.
The first snap of each half is brought to you by Janasco Insurance. The protection you need, the service you deserve. That's Janasco Insurance. Second down and 11 for Northwestern, going from our left to our right on their opening drive of the contest. Leonardo Guidetti will have three receivers to work with on the far side of the field. He's got Brandon Swink lined up on the near side, and they'll give this one to the tailback. Hanshaw has some room to go up the middle, and he works his way up to about the 35-yard line, picks up a real nice chunk on second and long, setting up third down and 2.
And that's the beauty of the style of offense they like to run. It really forces a team, especially like Black River, who has four linebackers out there. You got to spread them out a bit, and it lined up perfectly there to bring up a third and short.
They have to get past the 27-yard line right now. The nose of the ball resting on the 35, so it's third down and 2 on this first drive for the Huskies. Wasn't a far trip for these guys. Catching up with Coach Steve Caruza before the game today, and he was telling us about a 25-minute trek. Guidetti drops back, has some time. Now he's going to step up, passes it to his right. Hanshaw makes the catch, steps out of a tackle, gets to the sideline, room to run. He's knocked out of bounds near the 50-yard line. He was hit at the very end of that play by Hunter Varney, but he gets more than enough for a first down.
In a similar situation to that first down play call, only this time Mason Coberna not able to come up with the tackle with what would have been a stop there on third down. Now ends up first down and 10, and they move the chains for the first time tonight, do the Huskies.
They picked up about 15 yards on third down and 2, and now they're at the midfield stripe. Boy, Guidetti with some escapability there, stepping up with the pocket and finding his tailback. They'll send a man in motion left. That's Ramsire. He'll take the high snap. Guidetti looking to his left. Can't find anything open. Now he redirects to his right, looking down the field. Lobs it up in the air. The pass falls incomplete. He was looking for Braden Swink, but the pass fell to the grass right around the 31 of Black River.
Incredible job keeping that play alive. I mean, it looked like for a few seconds there, he's going to be brought down for a huge loss, but just has even though he's got a smaller stature, his stride picked up nicely there and almost made a big play out of it.
Oh, and Black River head coach Kyle Clark made mention of that. One of his keys is, look, we have to find a way to corral Guidetti because he can make things happen with his feet. When it looks like a play is broken, he can buy you some extra time to get up and down the field. He'll drop back to pass again. He's got plenty of time to throw. Fires down the field. He's got Swank, but he can't hang on to the pass. Looked like that was maybe a bit behind him at the 38-yard line. Then he tried to turn up the field before he hauled it in, and that incompletion brings up 3rd down and 10.
Well, that's one Swank knows he has to have, especially because Guidetti had plenty of time to set his feet, let that one go, and great job by the offensive line giving him some protection there. But it almost reminded me of a similar route concept on the opposite side of the field, and it seemed like the Black River defenders focused heavily on the far side there, leaving the middle wide open.
Their second 3rd down opportunity of this opening drive. They converted on 3rd and 2 earlier, but a tougher situation here, 3rd down and 10 from the 50. Guidetti facing some pressure, rolling out to his left. He's able to throw down the field. Looks like he's got a man open down there. Grady Ellerbrock able to make the catch right around the 31-yard line.
Wow, he did come down with that. As him and Ramsar, I couldn't tell who was going to come up with it.
Boy, Grady Ellerbrock able to haul that in. That ball was in the air for what seemed like forever. And that ends up being about a 19-yard pickup on 3rd down and 10. So their 2 biggest plays of this drive have been 3rd down pickups.
And especially when the play and the protection is broken down on him. And, I mean, how about the pump fake? There we can't not mention that. I mean, he really had the Pirate defender sold there.
He'll grab the snap, looks right, throws right, caught by Ramsire, out in open space. He's got nothing but green in front of him. He takes it into the end zone, touchdown Northwestern. A 31-yard pitch and catch from Leonardo Guidetti to Riley Ramsire. And Northwestern draws first blood. They've got a 6-0 lead, extra point pending with 9:23 to play here in the first quarter.
And you'll get a look at the replay there as they just hit a quick-hitting slant that time to avoid any kind of pass rush getting home. And it pays off with the speed of Ramsire getting to the end zone.
Kicking duties handled by Keegan Kostouris. Kostouris is a sophomore, 6'1", 175-pounder. This is his first attempt at a PAT. They were shut out last week. Low snap. They'll get it down. Extra point is on the way, and it is good. 7-0. Northwestern with the lead as they go all the way down the field. 63 yards on the opening drive to take the advantage. This is our game of the week. It's brought to you by Legacy Home Finance on the Lorain County Sports Network. The Northwestern Huskies go 73 yards on 7 plays. A 31-yard touchdown pass from Guidetti to Ramsire. And they have the early 7-0 lead with 9:23 to play on this first quarter clock. Great to have you with us on the Lorain County Sports Network. Andy Bolbarch, Max Drummond on the call for you. Keegan Kostouris will tee it up at the 40-yard line. And we'll get our first look at this Black River offense here in just a moment. Kostouris will run forward, put his right foot into it. High kick, end over end. Paymer going back. We'll watch that bounce at the 1-yard line. It kind of dies. He has to pick it up. He was going to let that go. He'll take it out past the 20-yard line. He's able to get up to about the 24, where he's corralled there by a couple of Huskies. James Cassidy, one of the first ones there on the stop. He had to go a long ways to pick up about 23 yards in that return.
A lot of yes on that one, I'm sure, from the crowd and that coaching staff, but ends up paying off as he gets a nice angle. There's, I believe, the Huskies. I mean, their cover team just seemed to all go to the corner, leaving nobody home.
They'll spot the ball at the 25-yard line. Black River will trot onto the field for the first time tonight. We get a look at this offense led by freshman quarterback Dominic Bell. 5'11", 170 pounds. 9 for 16 through the year last week, 112 yards and a touchdown. Man goes in motion. They'll give it to that man in motion. It's Bryce Murray. Murray turns it up the field past the 30, dragged down right side along the hash. He got up to about the 33.
And they're going to have to rely on Murray not only in the receiving game, but as a runner, as he was their leading rusher last week. So they're going to definitely have to look his way and try to get creative and get the ball in his hands.
And he had just the one carry for 23 yards. But you're right. He was able to lead that rushing attack as they had a hard time getting things going on the ground against Hillsdale. Dominic Bell by his lonesome in the backfield. He's got 3 receivers lined up on the near side. He'll drop back to pass. Rolling out near side left, looking down the field, fires to Bungard. Wide open at the 45, cuts back inside, and it takes a few different Huskies to take him down at the 47.
And that's a perfect display of how freshman Dominic Bell needs to kind of operate in this offense. Let his playmakers do the work there. He doesn't see anything downfield, doesn't force it. Just what looks like a check down turns into a nice big chunk play there on 2nd down and short. Coach
Kyle Clark talked about this during the Stewart's TV and Appliance pregame show. He mentioned Bungard and all of these receivers. They run great routes. Bungard's a nice big target, especially at this level. It's a real tough matchup for a lot of other teams. Dominic Bell will send a man in motion. He'll take the low snap, fakes the pitch, looking down the field. He trips, and he goes down right around the 43. He kind of stumbled, and Jacob Ebert kind of fell on him. He'll get credit for the sack there, but it looked like maybe that was the doing of Dominic Bell, just trying to make a cut, and his feet came out from underneath him.
Yeah, whatever it was, he didn't like his first read there, and it appeared like Patrizzi might have been open over the middle, but like I said, the coaching may have designed that to go somewhere else. He didn't see it, so he tries to extend the play, and now this is what we talked about in the pregame. How does he respond to the adversity that happened there on 1st down?
Hunter Vardy will be in the backfield this time with Dominic Bell. And they'll give it to Varney. Varney's got some room up the middle. He's able to push his way up to the 50-yard line. Picked up some nice yardage before he was escorted down. There were a couple of different Huskies in on that stop, and they will get to the line quickly on 3rd down and 6. And they got him to jump. 2 or 3 different Huskies jumped across the line. And that should make this a much more manageable 3rd down scenario.
And it did appear that the Huskies jumped first, but saw one Pirate respond. I don't know if he's close enough to where they jumped. We'll see.
They did indeed. So Black River will be dinged for the penalty. And this is going to make it a much more difficult scenario. They'll have to operate from their own 45-yard line. Now they need 11 yards on 3rd down.
Well, we know they have the playmakers to get this amount of yardage, but we'll see how comfortable Bell looks back there on 3rd and long.
Immediately rolls out to the right. Looking down the field. He's going to fire this one down the field, looking for Bungard. The pass is knocked away, and did he intercept that? No, he didn't. Could not come up with it. That was Grady Ellerbrock. Almost picked that off at the 43.
And the longer you hold on to it, the tougher it is for those receivers to stay separated, as he had what looked like Bungard as well as Patrizzi kind of converging on where the ball ended up, and that means those defenders, there's going to be a few more crowding that area. Dangerous over the middle. They'll definitely talk about that one tomorrow morning.
Dominic Bell also handles the punting duties. They'll snap it back to him. He'll punt this away. High wobbly kick. That'll bounce at the 21. It goes inside the 20-yard line. Ramsire will pick it up at the 15. Black River coming up to cover. Then a big pop on Ramsire at the end of the play. Got near the 25.
Yeah, nice stick that time by Coburna. Weren't sure if Ramsire was going to try to make something happen there, but very minimal.
6:30 to play in the opening quarter. 7-0 Northwestern leading Black River. Second series for this Northwestern offense. Well, they needed 7 plays to march 73 yards down the field. They converted on 3rd down twice on that touchdown scoring drive. The end result, a 31-yard strike from Leonardo Guidetti to Riley Ramsire. They'll fire this one right side for Kennedy, but Kennedy's dropped right away. Hunter Varney with the tackle. They'll give him the 25. That's a pickup of just 1 yard.
Yeah, great job by Varney getting off that block from Braden Swank almost immediately. And, I mean, he had eyes on him before the ball was even let go.
So just a 1 yard pitch and catch to James Cassidy. a senior, 5'9", 155. Caught a couple of passes for them last week in the loss against Keystone. 2nd down and 9 coming up for Northwestern.
Gotta wonder if we'll see a little bit of change here, less aggressiveness by the rushing guys up front for the Pirates, or if they'll try to contain this quarterback, Guidetti.
They're only rushing 3. Guidetti fires deep down the near side, looking for Ramsire, makes the catch, and he steps out of bounds on the near side, right around the 50-yard line. They'll mark him down at the Black River 48. Really good look down the field. He had one-on-one coverage. He took advantage of it. And, Max, that's a great throw by that sophomore quarterback.
Yeah, just beautiful over the shoulder and does just enough to keep him in bounds there so we can get the at least 1 foot down.
This is their 2nd trip inside Black River territory. 1st down and 10 at the Pirates' 48-yard line. Guidetti will grab the snap, looking across the middle. He's got Kennedy. Kennedy across the middle and takes it inside the 30-yard line. He's dropped at the 29. Bryce Murray on the stop, but not before, about an 18-yard pickup.
And that's the 2nd time we've seen them take advantage of those quick slants. And because of the success they've had over the top and kind of out to the sides, they're really leaving the middle of the field wide open right now as the Black River defense. They're going to have to leave somebody there or bring a safety up, something to try to slow down that attack.
Can't help but be impressed with Guidetti so far. Last week, completed 50% of his passes. He went 13 for 26 for 114 yards and 1 interception. Ramsire goes in motion to the left. Hanshaw, the only running back in the formation. Pressure coming from Black River, and he lost the ball. It's on the turf, but it's recovered right around the 40-yard line. That looked like a swarm of bees. About 4 black jerseys in that backfield. They knocked it away from Guidetti, but fortunately for Northwestern, they jumped right on it. We do have some laundry back at the 30-yard line. And it's a hold going against Northwestern, but that will be declined. We'll spot the ball at the 40-yard line. It's 2nd down and a long ways to go for the Huskies.
And a great job there by the right side of that Black River defensive rush, staying in their lanes. And as soon as he tried to step up, he had a Pirate waiting for him. And if one of those Pirates kind of had their head up, they might have been able to pick that off or jump on that ball.
3 receivers lined up on the far side. They've got 1 lined up near side to the right. Back to pass Guidetti. Facing some pressure again. He steps up, looks down the field, and the pass is caught by Ramsire at the 25, and then it was knocked out of his hands at the last moment. It looked like Bryce Murray was in on that play again to deny Ramsire, and that sets up 3rd down and long.
Yeah, beautiful timing right there. As some people may have said he was a half-second early, but I think he got there right when the ball did, and great job breaking it up from Ramsire, who's a very sure-handed receiver.
They called his number a lot last week. He caught 6 of the 13 passes that were completed against Keystone. And now we've got whistles, and we have a timeout called by Northwestern. Timeouts are brought to you by Lorain County Recorder Mike Duran, securing and organizing real estate documents. That's Lorain County Recorder Mike Duran. We'll take this timeout as well and come back in just a moment. 7-0. Northwestern leading Black River, 4:33 to play in the first quarter on the Lorain County Sports Network. Guidetti Rolling out far side to the left on 3rd down and long. He'll chuck this deep down the field. The pass is intercepted. It's picked up by Dominic Bell. He takes it up past the 15-yard line to the 20. Takes it down the near side. He's got some room to run. Gets to the 50. Off to the races inside the 40 of Northwestern. Cuts back inside 20. 15, 10, 5. Into the end zone. Touchdown Black River. A 90-yard pick six from Dominic Bell. And Black River is an extra point away from tying this up. There is some laundry on the field all the way back inside the 5-yard line. And the officials will discuss this back around the 15 of Northwestern.
No matter what they call here, I mean, you got to see a second ago there on the screen, just a beautiful high pointing of the ball and then tiptoeing the sideline, again to show off how athletic he is at the quarterback spot even.
It's a personal foul against Northwestern. It's about a 90-yard pick six as Dominic Bell got to that near the 10-yard line, and then he just took off. Felt like he covered about 6 miles on his way to the end zone.
Yeah, we don't get to see that from him very often, as their offense, it kind of guides him to being more of a passer, of course. So getting to see him show off the speed there and also the cutting ability, that's pretty special. Once again, that's a 9th grader out there doing that.
Jackson Burkholder handles the extra points. The kick is on the way. It's blocked at the line of scrimmage. So the PAT is no good. 7-6. Northwestern still has the advantage. 4:07 to play in the first quarter on the Lorain County Sports Network. Welcome back out to Black River High School. What a game so far, 7-6. Northwestern has the lead moments ago. 90-yard pick six for Dominic Bell. Brought Black River within a point. They missed the point after attempt, and now they're going to march off the penalty yardage. On that interception return for the touchdown, there was a personal foul against Northwestern. So Black River will now kick this off from the Huskies' 45-yard line.
And that Pirate defense, I mean, after a shaky start, it's very fortunate for them that their secondary stepped up and made a big play there, and that would kind of, you'd imagine, boost their confidence here, and who knows, maybe get in the head of the young quarterback Goodetti on the other side for Northwestern.
Burkholder will tee it up at the 45-yard line, having a hard time getting it to stay on the tee. Bryce Murray coming out there to try and help him out as well. And I think they're just going to say, you know what, I'll put my index finger on it and try and keep it upright. Burkholder looking both ways to make sure his guys are set. And it's a low kick that'll be picked up at about the 15-yard line, bobbled and then retrieved. It'll be taken to the near side of the 15-yard line, and gang tackled on the play was Jesse Hanshaw. And that just looked like a disaster from the get-go. Had a hard time picking it off the turf, and then once he got it, he was immediately met by a host of Pirates.
Yeah, he certainly was, and you know, Black River, great job obviously capitalizing on the interception by taking it to the house by Bell, and then right there, your special teams unit able to take advantage of a mistake that Northwestern did where they lost their cool for a moment.
Feels like this Northwestern offense has been on the field a ton here in this first quarter. Late bodies trotting out of the field for Black River. First down and 10 from their own 15 for the Huskies. Goodetti in trouble quickly. He gets sacked inside the 10-yard line. Again, 3 or 4 guys right in his face. There was some immediate pressure, and all he could do was hang on to that.
Yeah, trio of Pirates. We'll get a third if you split sacks up that way, but really, he didn't diagnose that Zane Bungard had the late blitz off the edge, and he came in untouched, and that forced him to try to roll away immediately, and there was just nowhere for him to go.
Black River all of a sudden starting to get a bit more penetration up front, some more pressure. That's something they had a hard time doing in that opening drive. Second down and 15. They'll work off the right hash at their own 10-yard line. Guidetti looking down the field, facing some trouble again, throws it across the middle, and the pass is caught. Grady Ellerbrock will take it past the 10 up to about the 13-yard line. It's his second reception of the game, and they're able to pick up a little bit on that, maybe about 7 yards. Actually, check that. No, that's right. It's about a 7-yard pickup, right? Close to it?
Just about, yeah, I think. And because he may have lost some forward progress cutting back or kept forward progress after he cut back. But, you know, that's something Guidetti has shown off so far is he was willing to be patient, and it's burned him a couple times on some of these sacks and late throws. But right there, maybe kind of helps set them up for a little more manageable third down.
Back to pass on third down. Throws this one up in the air toward the near sideline. A jump ball that's intercepted at the 41-yard line. Riley Ramsire is grappling for it right around the 41, but the initial signal was interception for Black River, and it is indeed a pick for the Pirates, their second interception of the game. And it was Hunter Varney who came away with it.
Yeah, beautiful job there. I mean, both of these interceptions by these Black River defenders, they have been playing the role of the receiver in a way. And just a good job there to high point that and also maintain the fight for it on the ground.
It's Mason Coburna with the interception, so my apologies. And there's a flag on the play all the way back at the 15, but it was against Northwestern, so it's going to be declined. And Black River will have great field position after their second interception. Ball is at the 40-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for the Pirates. 2:22 to play here in the opening quarter. Black River trailing 7-6. Varney, the lone setback. Bell takes the snap, throws left side, caught in the screen by Bungard. Takes it down the left hash, breaks a tackle. He gets inside the 20, and he's tackled inside the 15 at the 14-yard line. That'll immediately take them inside the red zone. Brought to you by Steve Lawson of Russell Real Estate Services. Selling or buying soon? Visit superstevesells.com.
Yeah, I love the play call there to start the drive, kind of settle him back in because you alluded to it earlier. It's felt like it's been a while since Black River's offense has seen the field, and right there just set him up nicely and let his athlete, in this case Bungard, do all the work.
Second reception of the game for Bungard. That's a name that we expect to say a lot tonight. Dominic Bell will clap his hands together. Fires right side. The pass is caught inside the 5 and taken into the end zone. Touchdown. Bryce Murray on the touchdown catch. A 14-yard strike from Dominic Bell. And now it's a 12-7 Black River lead with 1:52 to play here in the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a great read, anticipation on that throw. Off the charts as he gets it out before Bungard Murray or the corner is even looking his direction. And it sets him up perfectly there and guides him right into the end zone.
We'll see if they decide to go for two here, or if they'll try and punch one through the uprights. They had a PAT blocked at the line of scrimmage when they scored last time around on the interception. They will keep the offense on the field. Bell hands it off to Varney. Varney pushes his way forward. He's close to the goal line. Did he get in? Waiting on an official signal. And no, he did not. He came up just a little bit short on that two-point conversion. So 2 plays after the interception, Black River takes their first lead of the night. They lead 12-7 over Northwestern with 1:52 to go in the first. This is the Lorain County Sports Network. Two huge interceptions for this Black River defense. One from Mason Coburna, the other coming from Dominic Bell. Bell took his to the house from 90 yards out, and the interception for Mason Coburna set up a 14-yard touchdown pass from Bell to Bryce Murray. My, how the tides have turned over the last couple of minutes. Now a 12-7 Black River lead on Northwestern inside of 2 minutes to play, first quarter. Glad to have you with us tonight on the Legacy Home Finance Game of the Week. A high kick, retrieved by Cassidy at about the 20-yard line. Past the 30 he goes, angling toward the far sideline. He's got some room, and he steps out of bounds. He went out past the 40, near the 43.
And obviously last time with Black River kicking off from their 45, you didn't have much of a choice, but that time took some time to let his blocker set up in front of him, and it's a whole different story to start this drive, and you hope that kind of wipes the slate clean for this offense, and they can get back to what they did on that first drive for their sake.
We're talking about the disparity in runs or plays run so far, and for the Black River offense, they really have only run a handful of plays in this game. So this Northwestern offense has been on the field for a vast majority of this first quarter. Guidetti hands off. This was taken past the 45 by Hanshaw up to about the 47. It picks up 4 yards.
Yeah, and that's about as you expect here to get back, get your offense on the field once again, not rush Guidetti into a few more throws, even though we know they would like to keep attacking through the air. You got to get him settled down a little bit here as we're not even out of this first quarter yet.
Second down at about 6. They'll have Hanshaw and Guidetti in the backfield again. 4 receivers for the Huskies. They've got 2 on each side of the line. A high snap. Guidetti throws across the middle. Incomplete. He had a man wide open. It was James Cassidy, but he just couldn't hang on to it at the 45 of Black River.
Once again, we see them try to go back to one of those slant routes, or the quick hitting action through the air. Black River fortunate that time that it was dropped, or else he may still be running right now.
Well, I think Cassidy tried to take off before he hauled that in. I think he saw lots of green in front of him. And sometimes when your eyes get wide, your hands get small.
Couldn't agree more.
Third down and 6. High snap taken by Guidetti. Looking. Now he's scrambling. He's in trouble. He dumps this one down the field to the far side. Caught by Ellerbrock. Ellerbrock able to tiptoe his way along the far sideline. He went out right around the 50. So he's going to be well short of a first down.
And obviously that's not a flashy play. Isn't going to look like much, but very heads up there by Guidetti because he had several linemen downfield. Looked like initially they were trying to set up a screen, and if he would have tried to air that one out past the first down marker, it may have been called back anyway. So just a good job dumping it off, living to fight another down, maybe help your defense out here.
First time tonight that Northwestern has been forced to punt. Mason Gray is back to kick it away. Nobody back deep just yet for Black River. They've got everybody up within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. They'll kick this away. High kick, a bit of a wobbler, and that'll bounce inside the 25. Takes a really big Northwestern bounce inside the Black River 20, and they'll pin it down near the 15. So a really nice punt by Mason Gray, a senior, 5'10", 170-pounder. Just 41 seconds left in this first quarter. Coach Kyle Clark told us a couple of days ago, look, can't explain it, but weird things just happen when we play Northwestern.
Yeah, last year's game we mentioned was within 7. They played each other for several years, and obviously Northwestern's played a lot of teams from the county, so they're a little more familiar with each other than maybe your typical non-conference opponent.
Varney lined up as the tailback. He's off the left side of Dominic Bell. Claps his hands together, gets the snap. They give to Varney. Varney, room to run right side. Nice little stutter step. Takes it toward the far side, and he's dragged down near the 26.
And you talked about the stutter step on display there. I mean, last season he had his chances when he was lining up at quarterback to kind of show off some of that athleticism, but this season, being almost the lead option at tailback, it's gotta feel good that they trust him to do that, and still just a sophomore.
They marked him down at the 25. Less than 10 seconds to play first quarter. Black River going to try and get one last play off. They've got 3 seconds to do it. 2 seconds. Bell takes the snap, throws right side, caught by Bungard on the screen. Bungard able to push his way past the 30, and he's corralled at the 31. So a 6-yard pitch and catch, and that takes us to the end of one. Black River 12, Northwestern 7 at the end of the first quarter. It is the Legacy Home Finance Game of the Week on the Lorain County Sports Network. About to start the second quarter. Black River leading Northwestern 12-7. So glad to have you with us down in Sullivan. Andy Bolbarch and Max Drummond on the call for you. Sam Sovakul is our cameraman, and we've got El Capitan, Edwin Vereen, our director. Second down and 4 for Black River. They're at the 30-yard line. Pitch goes left side to Varney. Varney tries to make a cut back inside, hit one of his own linemen. He's able to get up to about the 34, maybe the 33, so he'll be a little bit short, setting up third down.
Yeah, it looked like a rushed pitch almost. I don't even know if pitch is the right word for it, but he got that out of his hands in a hurry, did Bell. And honestly, I'd say it's a better job just to corral it by Varney, get back to the line of scrimmage.
So it'll be third down and a long one here for the Pirates. Coming into the game is Dozier Hendershot, a senior running back, 5'10", 210-pounder. Seems like a nice low center of gravity for this short yardage situation.
Well, I know our WOBL crew loved seeing him run the ball last year. We'll see if we get to see it now.
Bell takes the snap, throws left side. The pass is caught across the middle. Austin Paymer will take it to the 46 for a first down.
A little bit of trickery. That's a nice play action there, and it really made those linebackers bite for Northwestern, opening up the receiver Paymer that time for, I believe, his first catch of the night.
And they've been able to mix it up. Clearly, they like the matchup they have with Zane Bungard at 6'3", 190. But, Max, they've been able to spread it around.
Yeah, and that's great when you don't have to rely on just one guy when you're a young quarterback getting started. That's sometimes the stereotype or the tendency is that they have to lean on the guy. And like you said, maybe Bungard could become that, but right now a lot of guys eating.
Bell is going to hand this one off. A delayed handoff to Hendershot, running downhill. He gets inside the 40, and it takes a couple of guys to take him down. Grady Ellerbrock at the very end of that play was able to finish it near the 36, although we do have a couple of flags. And it will be a hold going against Black River.
Well, before we get into the hold there, I mean, just a great job selling the draw that time. And nobody else you'd rather have running downhill than Hendershot with some momentum on his side. But, yeah, it looked like right as Hendershot got through the line, that's when the flag came out.
So they'll put the ball back at the 45. It looks like the hold happened right around the 45 of Northwestern, shortly after he picked up first down yardage. That's when some of that contact took place, and there was a lot of contact on that play. They've got 3 men in the backfield. They'll hand it off left side to Bryce Murray. Turns the corner past the 50. Makes a cut back inside of the 40. He spun out of bounds. James Cassidy escorted him out. Camden Napier was also in on that tackle for Northwestern, but not before Black River picks up another first down.
Well, Dozier Hendershot got the fake handoff that time. Really sold it as they thought he was going to get it again, but good job changing it up.
Well, maybe there was a reason. He had room to turn the corner. Another flag on the play. So that's going to push Black River back to their own 40. That's 2 really big running plays that have been negated by holding calls.
And before this drive, I believe we just had the one penalty earlier in the game. Besides the unsportsmanlike, there was a false start, but that's really been it.
This time they give it inside to Hendershot, and Hendershot is greeted immediately at the 43, so he's able to get maybe 3 yards on that. And I think they had tried the edge. Figure, you know what? Let's go up the middle with the big fella. They get some positive yardage out of it.
And I'm looking forward to seeing how they play call here until they either move the chains again or are forced to give the ball back, being this behind schedule with Bell back there. And if he's ready to try to get it all back at once, or if they'll try to take it a play at a time right now.
They empty out the backfield for Dominic Bell. Second down and 13. Takes the snap, throws it across the middle. A high pass, it falls incomplete. He was looking for Hunter Varney. He was open across the middle, but that pass had just a little bit too much air under it.
So that answers our question. They wanted to see a big chunk play happen there, and almost taking a page out of the Northwestern offensive playbook, spreading it out 5 wide. Not that they're not capable of it, but we haven't seen it too often tonight so far from the Pirates.
So it's third and long. They need 13 yards here. Leading 12-7 with 9:22 to play in the second quarter. Most of the snaps have been taken by this Northwestern offense. Two big plays called back because of penalties on this drive for Black River. Dominic Bell rolling out to the right, throws down the field. He's got a man open down there, but it falls incomplete at the 23-yard line. He was looking for Austin Paymer again, who had a step on his defender, but the incompletion sets up 4th and long.
Well, you can't say he's not looking in the right spots or making the right reads. A lot of these guys are running open or at least have a step or two on their defenders, and just the last 2 plays we saw him get a little too anxious with it, maybe lead him a little much.
Dominic Bell, as we mentioned before, does the punting for the Black River Pirates as well. Riley Ramsire inside his own 35-yard line. He started creeping up. Now he takes a couple of steps back. Big punt by Bell. This is a boomer that goes inside the 20, takes a nice big Black River bounce going inside the 15-yard line, and it stops dead in its tracks right around the 12. A nice punt by Dominic Bell.
He flips the field and makes it not only easier for himself, but the rest of the Pirates defense.
And the interesting thing about what's gone on so far, we've mentioned it a lot of times already, but as often as this Northwestern offense has been on the field, Max, they only have 7 points.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of positive response out of Black River's defense. And, you know, I'd say they've made a few adjustments, but obviously it comes down to the big turnovers they've been forcing. And now it puts the pressure back on Northwestern here to try to go the full length of the field. It's the second drive they'll start inside their own 20.
Leonardo Guidetti will grab the shotgun snap, pitches right side to Hanshaw. Hanshaw trying to turn the corner, but he's cut down in the backfield. Austin Paymer made the stop, dragged him down near the 10.
And a great job. You wouldn't know he plays corner by the way he had that nice form-up tackle that time, but just great job setting the edge, and that's just trying to tell Northwestern you're going to have to beat us north-south here.
You could certainly sense the shift in momentum after that 90-yard pick six by Dominic Bell. Because at the time, it looked like Northwestern was going to march down the field to take a 2-score lead. And then everything changed. A high snap, Guidetti going to dump this across the middle, and it's intercepted by Bryce Murray. Murray at the 20. He gets inside the 15, dancing along the far sideline. He runs into his own man, and he goes out of bounds. The 3rd interception of the game for Black River. Bryce Murray with the huge pick. And now they're set up inside the red zone.
It looks like a flag may have come out inadvertently there. They're going to wave it off, whatever it may have been. But like you said, 3rd interception of the night, and that's another time where it's late over the middle. And you can't do that at any level, especially not here when you've got some great athletes in that secondary. And definitely the best field position we've seen for either side tonight.
8:13 to go here in the first half. They'll put the ball at the 6-yard line. And Black River inside that red zone for the 2nd time tonight. A chance here to go up by a couple of scores. Hunter Varney is the tailback. Dominic Bell waiting on the snap. He'll clap his hands together and get it. They give to Varney. Varney takes it up the middle, works his way in close to the goal line, and he is in for the touchdown. A 6-yard touchdown scamper for Hunter Varney, and that will make it 18-7 Black River.
Now we'll see him set up here as, it's just a standard zone up the middle, and he does a great job going around his blockers, and that's an underrated part of this game so far is that Black River offensive line. Even though they haven't had much time to gel or get some chemistry in tonight's game, they've been opening up some holes and providing some time for Bell.
Jackson Burkholder on for the extra point. It's on the way, and it is good. 19-7. Black River leading Northwestern with 8:06 to go here in the second. This is our Game of the Week brought to you by Legacy Home Finance on the Lorain County Sports Network. 3 interceptions for the Black River Pirates, and all 3 have led to touchdowns. Well, one was a 90-yard pick six, and that came from Dominic Bell. Then an interception from Mason Coburna set up a 14-yard touchdown pass from Bell to Bryce Murray. And Bryce Murray, just a few minutes ago, picked off a pass. And on the very next play, Hunter Varney with a 6-yard touchdown rush. A short kick that'll get down inside the 25-yard line. It's picked up by Jesse Hanshaw, and he steps out of bounds. My, how the tides have turned to Max Drummond. We talked about just how good Northwestern looked early on in this game, but it's tough for anybody to overcome 3 turnovers in the same half.
Yeah, and immediately following touchdowns on each of them, 19-7, as it still feels like we've been in this game a lot longer than just 16 minutes that have come off the clock of game time. And right now it's gut check time for Guidetti in that offense. You need a couple other guys to try to help him here, and so he doesn't feel like he has to force, but it's tough to do down 12.
Fakes the pitch. He'll keep it himself. Running right side, trying to turn the corner. Mason Coburna says, would not let him get across the edge. And they will spot him down for a loss.
And we talked about his scramble ability that he showed off last week, but tonight he's not having much fun trying to do that, or at least make his own plays happen, as he's lost 20 yards. Some of that obviously being sack yardage, but he is being contained a lot better. And like you said, I'm sure Coach Kyle Clark is ecstatic about that.
Well, and you know that was a bit of a shot in the arm for Northwestern on that first drive. After they were shut out last week, they were able to put a real nice drive together. They converted 2 third downs. They went 73 yards on 7 plays, but just haven't looked the same. They'll send Hanshaw in motion. Guidetti drops back. Now he's stepping up in the pocket. He's got some room to run. He's able to get up to the 25-yard line. So he gets maybe 4 yards on that before being taken down by Zane Bungard.
Of course, that's a positive play, just by he was able to get really yards lost on first down back. But Black River came with a blitz there, and the offensive line did a great job picking it up. You'd hope to take advantage of that, but just nobody was able to get open. And now it leads to a third and obvious passing situation here.
Check that, as that was Austin Paymer on the tackle and not Zane Bungard. It is a 3rd and 10 scenario here for Northwestern. They've converted a few of these already tonight. Guidetti with Black River rushing 3. Has all kinds of time to throw. Looking down the field, he'll throw this back across the middle. The pass is caught by Hanshaw, and he gets past the 40, dragged down along the right hash at the 42 for a first down. It was Austin Paymer on the stop again, but a good job by Guidetti to scramble and buy some extra time.
Yeah, another one of those dangerous throws that we've seen multiple of them tonight, but that time he did a good job leading it to the outside of the field, so if it didn't come down with Hanshaw, I would have gone almost to the sideline.
Guidetti looking to throw again. He's got some time, and the pass is blocked at the line of scrimmage. It was batted down, and it looked like he was taking a shot as he was letting that loose.
He definitely did. Jack Van Cooney, great job there applying the pressure, and a big hit, and Guidetti's feeling it right now, that's for sure.
He just kind of threw that, it seemed like, at the line of scrimmage. Just couldn't get much on that, as you mentioned. Van Cooney popped him as he was letting it loose. 2nd down and 10. Now inside of 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. Boy, Guidetti was pretty sharp early on. One of the things that's changed here, Max, is Black River's applied more pressure. Here comes Bungard off the right edge. He'll fire this one across the middle, but it falls incomplete. He was looking for Braden Swank. But again, he felt that pressure coming from his left side.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned, because that swim move was so good. I don't think anybody missed it on our broadcast here, and it definitely affected the throw. As he may have had the slant open that time, going to his receiver Swank, but just a hair out in front of him due to the pressure.
Another 3rd down scenario. 2 plays ago, they converted on 3rd down and 10. They're being tasked with that very same scenario here. Ball is at their own 41-yard line. Black River has 3 men down at the line. That's all they're rushing for now. Guidetti with time again. Now he steps up. He gets sacked inside the 40. Went down right around the 38-yard line. It's Gabriel Negron who comes away from the pile, jumping up and down. That's a huge sack for him because that will force a punting scenario here for Northwestern.
Yeah, not normally a starter, but right there does a great job one-on-one against Travis Thompson, who we mentioned is coming back from injury, not playing week 1, so he's having to adjust to the speed here on Friday nights. And right there, great job, Gabriel Negron just stepping up there on 3rd and long.
Morgan Gray ready to punt this away. A bit of a wobbler, not a long kick either. This will bounce inside the 40, gets a real nice Northwestern bounce. That ball is knocked around on the far sideline. Hard to tell if it went out. Looks like it did.
When I wanted to save some field position, but the return man did not have a secure grab on it heading towards that sideline. That's just a risky play you maybe want to pass up on.
And it was tough to tell from here because of how that hit. That skid that it stayed so low to the ground. I think for a moment there, the return man thought maybe one of our guys touched that.
Yeah,
that's why he jumped.
That could be.
Waiting to see where they spot this. Look like they'll put it down maybe around the 30 of Black River. That's exactly where they put it down. 1st and 10 from there. 5:09 left on this second quarter clock. 19-7 Pirates. Don't forget, coming up at the half, we have the Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance halftime report. We'll rate the dog, take a look at some first half numbers, and much, much more. Dominic Bell fires right side, caught out in the flat by Bryce Murray. Murray lowers his shoulder, gets up to the 41-yard line, almost lost the ball at the end of the play.
Yeah, nearly stripped out that time by Ramsire. He's pretty upset with himself he wasn't able to jump on it, but another great job on these screen plays, and that requires obviously a quick throw out by your quarterback, but the blocks downfield have to be held in place, and Austin Paymer that time leading the way out on the edge.
1st down and 10 for the Pirates at their own 41-yard line. Now inside of 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, they lead 19-7. Dominic Bell, freshman quarterback, has shown quite a bit of poise tonight. Throws to Murray again, but the pass is incomplete at the 45. Boy, he took a shot at the end of that play. That was Grady Ellerbrock who laid the wood to him and popped that ball loose.
Well, Bell did everything he could to try to protect his receiver that time, putting on the back shoulder. He began to twist away from that pressure, but as you mentioned there, Ellerbrock, it didn't matter. You could have put it another 2 yards away. He was still probably going to get there in time.
Last week, Ellerbrock had 19 tackles in that loss to Keystone.
I had to double check if that was a typo. That's a lot of tackles.
2nd and 10 coming up for the Pirates. Again at their own 41-yard line. The snap will go to Varney. Varney takes it right side, breaks the tackle. Down the sideline he goes. He's got plenty of space. Off to the races. 20, 10, 5, and into the end zone. Touchdown! A 59-yard touchdown rush for Hunter Varney. His 2nd trip to the end zone tonight. And Black River has a 25-7 lead.
I mean, what started as potentially a broken play, just turns into a masterpiece. And I don't know how he stayed in bounds, but he managed to balance along that sideline. And, we're seeing a lot of speed on display tonight from this Pirate, not only just offense, but everywhere on the field.
So the Black River Pirates beginning to cruise with 4.5 to play in the second quarter. And it appears as though they are going to go for 2 here. Indeed, they are. Well, they needed just 3 plays to go 70 yards on that drive. Dominic Bell will grab the snap, fires left side, and it's picked off, and that will immediately rule it dead. Jesse Hanshaw with the interception on that 2-point attempt, and that thwarts the point after. 25-7, Black River leading 4.5 to go here in the second. It's the Legacy Home Finance Game of the Week on the Lorain County Sports Network. After Northwestern's opening drive, where they marched down the field in 7 plays to take a 7-0 lead, it has been all Black River since. They lead 25-7. 4.5 to go before we get to halftime. Andy Bullbarch and Max Drummond on the call for you on the Lorain County Sports Network. So great to have you with us in week 2 of the high school football season. Tonight's broadcast, Game of the Week, brought to you by Legacy Home Finance, your local, reliable, and trusted lender. Black River set to kick it off again. Burkholder will get his left foot into it. Short kick. It's retrieved right around the 34-yard line by Grady Ellerbrock. And Ellerbrock is run down near the 40.
That's one of the first times we've seen the Upmen willing to get their hands on it and try to save some field position. It pays off that time as in this 4-minute drill spot. You know, you could go the length of the field. Obviously, this will make it easier, but now we'll see if they're a little more conservative with some of the play calling or if they try to put more on Guidetti here to make something happen.
Well, Guidetti seems like he's been running for his life since that opening drive. And again, Black River has mixed up the pressure a little bit. They'll give this one inside to Hanshaw. Hanshaw bounces off the pile, but then he's dragged down by Zane Bungard at the 41.
I mean, they've been trying to get him involved on the ground and see if they can have any semblance of an identity there, but it's just been a no-show tonight. He had a nice 10-yard gain to start the game, but since then, just 3 carries and a yard.
2nd and 9 upcoming. Black River defense has been incredibly impressive. 3 big turnovers, including a pick 6. Guidetti fakes the handoff, throws across the middle. He's got Ramsire open inside Black River territory, dragging 3 defenders with him inside the 35, and he finally goes down at the 33.
And that's one of the few things that has worked for them tonight, those slant routes, when they hang on to them, of course, and it results in a nice play there to really jumpstart this drive, and they really needed that one.
Riley Ramsire is a name that we've said a few times tonight, and a name we figured we'd have to get at least a little bit familiar with for Northwestern. Guidetti will hand off to Hanshaw. He stumbles and he goes down at the 35 trying to make a cut. That knee went down at the 35 for a loss of 2.
And footing's been a little bit of an issue here on the field tonight, but as far as I can tell, we've been maintaining some pretty dry conditions, but who knows, maybe the lawnmowers raised a level or two.
Yeah.
The field does look great, though. It looks in great shape.
Well, in the northern sector of Lorain County, it rained real hard last night. Not sure if they got the same down here in Sullivan because the showers were somewhat spotty, but there was a really big one that tore through Avon last night.
It's a good thing those Eagles were out of state. They didn't have to deal with that.
That's right. Guidetti has time to throw. Rolling out to the right. Now he's facing some pressure. He gets sacked at the 40-yard line. As he was looking down the field, just couldn't see anything that he liked, and he ended up being knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, when these plays have broken down, we've seen him have some success, kind of shake guys off of him or make a man miss, but right now I think they're starting to adjust over in Black River. They're not falling for as many of the pump fakes or the false steps that he's trying to fool them with.
Mason Coburna was credited with the sack, and that makes this a very difficult 3rd down scenario for Northwestern. We're inside of 2 minutes to play in the second quarter. 25-7 Black River, 3rd down and 18. They have to scramble to get to the line. Guidetti will drop back, pressure coming from Black River. And this time it's Kennedy. Kennedy will throw it down the field, intercepted again. Black River with their 4th interception of the half.
Looks like that one's going to be Caden Hendershot, so we obviously heard Dozier a couple times on offense right there. Caden stepping up and forcing a 4th turnover.
And it's just so tough to overcome that. And 4 interceptions in the first half. Black River's been so opportunistic all night long. And now with a $1:36 to play in the second, Black River will have it at their own 37-yard line. There's some movement on that defensive line. And for a moment there, it looked like Maddox May had jumped across. Indeed he did. It'll be offsides against Northwestern.
That's the perfect start to this drive. Save you not only some yards, but some precious time here before halftime.
Low snap taken by Bell. Surveying down the field, rolling out to his right. All kinds of time to throw. He may be better off tucking and running this. He'll do just that. He gets past the 50, tiptoes his way along the near sideline. He goes out of bounds at the Northwestern 45.
Tough to tell if he had an idea where the line of scrimmage was that time, as he was well past the 42, and it still looked like he wanted to throw, but good job there taking what they gave him.
You could hear people on the home stands out in front of us just saying, run, run. Also stops the clock at 1:24.
And sometimes it's as simple as that. You know, he's had a couple times where he's extended plays and was able to go down the field with it, but right there, that's just a smart, easy play you'll take every time.
This time he's got Hunter Varney with him in the backfield. He rolls out to the left, throws left side. The pass is caught and then dropped at the 40. Zane Bungard had some room to work with, but he couldn't hang on to it. Actually, check that. Was that? That was not Bungard. Parker Broadsword.
We've seen a couple different guys rotated in, and on that one, you would have almost preferred to see him kind of drift towards the sideline with that catch so he could secure it and get out of bounds. But Broadsword, just a sophomore, and like Bungard, 6'3" in his own right, so he's got a lot of potential out there here in the future as a receiver.
I remember calling that name a lot during basketball season.
Yes.
2nd and 10 now at the 45 of Northwestern. Bell and Varney in the backfield. Bell throws right side, and the pass is caught along the near sideline and immediately taken out of bounds is Bryce Murray. Riley Ramsire wrapped him up and showed him the way to the near sideline. I don't think there were many on that near side that took too kindly to the way that Ramsire escorted him out. And we've got a timeout taken by Black River with 1:16 to go. Here in the second quarter, again, coming up at the half, we've got the Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance halftime show. Insurance questions, call Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance in Amherst. We'll rate the dog. We've got some first half stats. We'll see if we can get a look at the area scoreboard as well to see what's going on in week 2 of the high school football season. Don't forget to tune in to WOBL and WDLW for the scoreboard show. My man John Guzik is back there waiting on those results, highlights, and much, much more. That Crusher game went so long last Friday. By the time I got in my car, I couldn't even listen to Goose. I was disappointed.
That's saying something. I know that guy. He's got enough information. He can go as long as he wants, probably to midnight if he had it his way.
We need to talk to GT and make that happen.
Pull an all-nighter edition on that postgame show.
He'd do it. 3rd and 5 coming out of the timeout. They'll send a man in motion. They'll give it to him. And it's Austin Paymer. Paymer initially made a couple of guys miss, but then he was corralled at the 41 and just wasn't able to get enough, setting up 4th down at about 6.
And how about the strength by Braden Swank there? I mean, we see him line up at receiver on offense right there, setting the edge as an end, and really puts Black River's offense in a tough spot now under a minute to go.
Both teams do have a couple of timeouts to work with. And they've got Dominic Bell back in the shotgun, but again, he also does the punting, so you're up 25-7. In this scenario, it's a bit of a toss-up. He'll take the snap. He will roll out to his left, looking down the field, has a man open, and it's caught right around the 30-yard line and taken out of bounds along the far side for a 1st down. He found his main target, Zane Bungard, and they pick up 1st down yardage.
Well, that's all reliable, right? I mean, he just, nothing, as we said, against Broadsword, but there, Bungard, the senior, as he did a great job hugging that sideline. And it looks like maybe they said the knee came down in bounds because the clock is moving.
Jeez, from here it looked like he got out, but you're right. Our referee, Troy Carter, said, nope, wind it up. Clock is all the way down to 10. Bell rolling out right, has some time, looking down the field, lobs this one up, looking for Bungard. Bungard makes the catch in the corner of the end zone. A 28-yard touchdown pass from Dominic Bell to Zane Bungard, who made a great catch in traffic. And that's how this first half is going to end. What a grab by Bungard.
Yeah, pregame, we got to see plenty of that. I mean, the ball's going to disappear from your screen on the replay. That's how high of an arc there was to it. But it leaves a jump ball situation for Bungard. And just an impressive grab to bring that one in. And they get over the 30 mark here in the first half.
Keep in mind, it took us until the 4-minute mark in that first quarter for Black River to get on the board. Line drive extra point attempt is on the way and no good. 31-7 is our score halfway through this one. So we certainly have a lot to digest as we get into that Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance halftime show. And we'll do our best to take a look at some scores across the area. We'll look at some first half stats. We'll rate the dog and much, much more. 31-7, though, again, your score, Black River on top of Northwestern. We'll step aside and take a quick timeout, and then we'll come back with all that information and much, much more on our Game of the Week, brought to you by Legacy Home Finance on the Lorain County Sports Network. Welcome back out to Black River High School. It's 31-7 at the half. Black River on top of Northwestern. This is the halftime show, and it's brought to you by Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance. If you have insurance questions, call Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance in Amherst. Andy Bolbarch, Max Drummond with you. What a first half for Black River. Didn't start well with that touchdown drive, taking 73 yards, 7 plays all the way down the field from Northwestern, but nothing has been the same ever since.
Yeah, they've captured some momentum through turnovers, and they've really used it to propel everything else that they've done so far. And now we're seeing that offense play with a lot of rhythm down to the final seconds of that half.
4 turnovers. Tough for anybody to overcome that. One of them a pick 6. The Black River defense has just been sensational. Outside of that opening drive, they've been terrific.
Yeah, I think the pressure has really started to pick up. We talked about that a little bit there in the second quarter. And when we look at the stats here in a little bit, that's going to reflect that as well. It's really affecting the rushing stats here tonight for Northwestern.
We'll take a look at the scoring recap, and then I'll let you take over with the stats, which are brought to you by Al Januzzi CPA. It's all about the numbers with Al Januzzi CPA. Here's how the scoring went down. We talked about that very first scoring drive. 7 plays, 73 yards. The end result was a 31-yard touchdown strike, and it went from Leonardo Guidetti to Riley Ramsire. They would force Black River to punt on their very first offensive possession of the game, but perhaps the biggest play of the game came just a few moments later, a 90-yard pick 6 for Dominic Bell, and that's where the tides really began to turn, because a few plays later, Mason Coburno would come away with an interception. 2 plays after that, it was a 14-yard touchdown pass from Dominic Bell to Bryce Murray. They would then force a 3-and-out. There were a couple of punts before Bryce Murray got in on the intercepting action. He had the 3rd pick on that opening half for Black River, and it didn't take them long. As a matter of fact, the next play was a 6-yard touchdown rush for Hunter Varney, and a couple moments later, Hunter Varney found his way to pay dirt again on a 59-yard touchdown rush, making it 25-7, and then Caden Hendershot, 3 plays after that, came up with the 4th interception of the game, and just as time expired in the opening half, a 28-yard TD pass from Dominic Bell to Zane Bungard made it 31-7, and that's our count at the half.
On some of the stats, you mentioned a few of the big plays that happened, especially on the scoring that they were able to make happen. It's added up to Black River right now, operating with 128 yards through the air, so they were able to obviously connect on a few plays there, but also 104 yards on the ground. And in total, they haven't run very many plays, so to stack up that amount of yardage has been impressive. Leading the way, obviously, on the ground, Hunter Varney, you mentioned him, as he's got the pair of scores and 85 yards on the ground himself. And then we look at Dominic Bell, the freshman, 9 of 14, 128 yards and a pair of touchdown passes. So he's really coming into his own here in just his second start. And we alluded to it a little bit ago as Northwestern, after that first drive, it's almost been a nightmare there as their young quarterback as well. Guidetti, he's been dealing with a lot of pressure. And right now they're at negative 15 rushing yards. So I would say they want to establish something here in the second half, but with being down 24, you might not have that choice, as those stats all brought to you by Al Januzzi CPA.
It's all about the numbers, and well, we're not done with halftime just yet because we have to rate the dog. Brought to us by Brian Victor of Howard Hanna. And look, I wasn't a part of this process last week, so I have no idea what you guys had at North Ridgeville, but I can tell you what we had here in Black River was awesome. They even toasted the bun. Yeah, we probably should have saved it for a nice little shot here, but all 4 hot dogs have been devoured by myself, Max, Edwin, and Sam. They do not exist anymore.
Gone out of sight.
This was phenomenal. Now, last year, I think we did a grading scale of 10. You guys are doing it based on a 5 this year. Is that right?
That's right. We'll come in around a 5, and most of the time included decimal, I would say.
I'm going to go 4.4. That was terrific.
That's a strong start, and you mentioned where you were last Friday. I don't know if you had a ballpark dog where that maybe stacks up, but for me, I'm coming in right at a 4.3. So far, it's just barely edging North Ridgeville, what we came out to an average last week.
All due respect to North Ridgeville.
All great hot dogs.
We were there once last year, and it was really good, but, I mean, the toasted bun, it was the perfect amount of saltiness for what feels like a real nice fall evening here in Sullivan.
Absolutely, and, I mean, now we're getting this sunset around us, and you can tell the second half is getting close to starting.
Again, Rate the Dog brought to you by Brian Victor of Howard Hanna. Brian says, enjoy the game. We'll do that, and we'll enjoy the dog. Or rather, I should use the past tense there. we enjoyed the dog. It's already been crushed. All right. About 4.5 minutes left at halftime. We'll step aside and take one more break, and then we'll come back and we'll feed you some scores from across the area as well. Again, our score here in Sullivan, Black River 31, Northwestern 7. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here in our Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance halftime show. 31-7 Black River leading Northwestern at halftime on the Lorain County Sports Network. Rounding third, heading home on the final segment of the Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance halftime show. If you have insurance questions, call Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance in Amherst. Just a couple minutes away from the kickoff of the second half here in Sullivan, 31-7 in favor of Black River. They lead Northwestern. They've run off 31 straight points on the strength of 4 interceptions in that opening half. Andy Bullbarch and Max Drummond on the call for you. Max, we'll take a look at some other scores across the area right now. Our man Edwin Vereen was able to put as many of these together as he possibly could. Lorain leading Elyria 21-14. And that may not come as a surprise to many, but Illyria's making it close. And we keep hearing about how Elyria has vastly improved, and you and I get to see the Pioneers towards the end of the season a couple of times.
Yes, they really have been excited about their quarterback play since some of their scrimmages have began. And, I mean, in a rivalry game like that, you never know what can happen. And it's also can be heard live if you're a fan of one of those teams on WDLWradio.com.
Speaking of games that can be heard on our family of stations, Vermilion leading 21-6. You can hear that one on WOBL. Buckeye doubling up Amherst 14-7. Well, Amherst rolled last week, but a bit of a tougher test this time around from the Bucks.
They certainly did, and away from home as well, as they kind of played a neutral site with Sandusky. But like you said, Buckeye, a very tough team, and definitely will be a factor once the playoffs come around.
No scoring update from Oberlin and Brooklyn. At last check, they were scoreless 13-13. Columbia and Fairview deadlocked at the half. Wellington up on Mapleton 14-0. Mayfield on top of Elyria Catholic 19-7 at the half. 7-3. Westlake leading Clearview. Woodbridge up 14-0 on Brookside in the second. North Ridgeville, no surprise, ahead of Valley Forge 24-6. And even though they graduated a lot last year, that North Ridgeville team is going to be awfully tough to contend with in the SWC.
Yeah, getting to see them in week one in a form of where they didn't really have to show off too much. They were able to kind of lean on their opponent, and it's definitely good to kind of scale up that way for the SWC, but they do have that monster of a game in week 4 to open conference play against Avon.
It's one I'm sure they've had circled since last year. Of course, the game you and I did last year was the game right after that when they took care of Elyria rather quickly. But the question was, would there be an Avon hangover? And the answer was given to us pretty quickly thereafter because it was 28-0 at the half. Lake Catholic up 7-0 on Avon Lake. Midview 20, North Olmsted 7. And, of course, right here, it is 31-7. Black River leading Northwestern. Max, let's take a look at some quick keys for both sides before we kick off the second half.
Well, obviously, Black River has really had their way offensively, but a lot of that was through the air. I'm interested to see if they can take more of an approach on the ground, try to burn through some more of this clock because they didn't really have that option last week, trailing for most of the game. And as for Northwestern, I don't know if it's going to be the common place here in the second half, but we did see their backup quarterback, James Cassidy, who obviously is one of their skill players, take that last snap on offense. So not sure if they'll go back to him or if Guidetti is going to be the option here in the third and fourth quarter. But whoever it is, you got to try to be creative, but also make sure they stay playing within the offense and don't feel like they have to force something, although when you're facing a deficit like this and you look up at it after every play, it's hard not to as a player.
Yeah, you're right, and that's awfully difficult to overcome. Look, 4 turnovers, that's tough for anybody to try and get past, especially in a game where things were looking really good for you, too. We referenced what they did last week. They got beat 39-0, so on your very first drive, you put a nice, long, sustained drive together. Not only that, they also converted on third down twice, and they picked up 10 yards or more on both of those conversions, so that was a very successful drive, but they just haven't been able to click since. And I think one of the big reasons for that, Max, is they've just had a really hard time handling the pressure that Black River's thrown at them.
And what's interesting is on that opening drive, we saw Black River almost get home a few times, but Guidetti, he looked very comfortable, very patient back in that pocket. But now you kind of see him with some happy feet back there, and he's trying to maybe find something that isn't there down the field, and it's led to a few turnovers. So I can't imagine Black River, no matter who's out there, is going to let up on that defensive pressure on that side of the ball.
Our game of the week brought to you by Legacy Home Finance, your local, reliable, trusted lender. That's Legacy Home Finance. We're up here in the Green Path CPA Solutions broadcast booth. Not your typical accounting firm. Visit greenpathcpa.com. A big tip of the old cap to the wonderful folks here in Black River for hosting us. We always appreciate them bringing us all the good stuff up here, man. Got a great spread up here, wonderful people. Always love coming down to Sullivan. Coach Rob Clerico and company do a great job. They always treat us very well.
And one of the most spacious booths in the entire broadcast network that we do and the schools we visit. And it's a lot of the same on Saturdays. They always go out the red carpet when we're here for Junior LC8 as well.
We want to remind all of you, if you're looking for something to tune into on your way home from whatever stadium you're in tonight, or if you're just dialed into high school football in Lorain County, if you want to know what happened, you need to dial up John Guzik. He's got you covered on the post-game show. He'll talk to some of the game-winning coaches. He'll talk to some of the players from across the area as well. And he'll let you know all the final results from Lorain County and beyond tonight on WOBL and WDLW. He's on until about 11 o'clock. That's an early night for Goose. All right, time to kick this away. Again, the kicking handled by Keegan Kostoris. He's got it teed up at the 40, ready to kick it back to Black River. He looks to his left, looks to his right. He'll run forward and kick this away. A high kick, end over end. Austin Paymer gets it about the 1 yard line. Past the 10 he goes. Past the 20. He spins out of a tackle, still on his feet. Room to run up the middle. He gets past the 40. He tried to jump through a defender at the 45-yard line. Riley Ramsire finally slowed him down near the 46.
Well, he's gotten a few chances on offense, not too many. And right there, he gets his hands on it and takes full advantage of what was a powerful kickoff, but he ended up making that not matter at all.
Terrific little spin move. And then he just shot out of that pile at the 30-yard line for an extra 16 yards.
Yeah, I think he shocked his own teammates on that one, and they realized, oh, we have to keep blocking.
Dominic Bell will lead the charge again for this Black River offense. He had that 90-yard pick six. And then he had a 14-yard touchdown pass to Bryce Murray. Threw one at the very end of the half to Zane Bungard from 28 yards out. So to say that he's had a very large hand in what we saw in this first half would be a major understatement. They give it to Hendershot. Hendershot takes it right side, and he's down to the 50-yard line after picking up about 4 yards.
And more used to him taking it out of the traditional backfield set. Right there, comes in motion and picks up a nice gain to open the second half. And like we talked about during halftime, we'll see if they opt for more plays like that to keep the clock moving here and kind of get out of what their typical offense has been this season.
They had hoped to start the year with Jace Hopek. Didn't have him last week, don't have him this week, but they've been able to run the ball very well. They'll send a man in motion. It's Varney, near side of the right. They fake, they give to him. Pass goes over the middle. Caught by Murray in stride. He's off to the races, and he takes it to the house. A 50-yard touchdown pass to Bryce Murray. And it doesn't take long for Black River, just over a minute, to march right down the field and put up another score here in the second half.
Yeah, not too complicated there. Just a simple post route to the inside. And Murray leaves his defender, Henshaw, in the dust, who's been asked to do a lot on both sides of the ball tonight. And he starts that running clock here in Sullivan.
Second time that combination of Dominic Bell to Bryce Murray is hooked up for 6. 37-7. Burkholder on for the extra point. Snap goes back. The hold is down. The extra point is on the way, and it is no good. 37-7 Black River with 10:25 to go here in the third quarter on the Lorain County Sports Network. Two plays in, a 50-yard touchdown pass from Dominic Bell to Bryce Murray. Not even 90 seconds into this second half, and it's a 37-7 lead for Black River. It is turned into a rout here in Sullivan. Jackson Burkholder, freshman, 5'4", 155-pounder. Ready to kick it back to Northwestern. He's got the green light from the officials, and he'll kick this away. Low line drive kick. Ellerbrock will get it at the 30-yard line. Up to the 35 he goes. And a few Pirates will take him to the turf close to the 40. Well, running clock now, so it gets awfully tough here, Max. And unless Northwestern can find a way to get back into the end zone, this second half can be over in a hurry.
That it could, and we'll also get our question answered here. Who will see march out at quarterback and lead this offense in this kind of situation where you can obviously play pretty freely right now, and you still want to put some good plays together in series, but obviously you got to work out a few things, maybe get a little more comfortable here on Friday nights.
They'll put a few guys in the backfield with Guidetti. He'll take the snap. Actually, it's going to be Kennedy, and he'll hand this one off up the middle. Ball's taken up to about the 40-yard line, so not much of a gain on that play.
So they will probably see them lean more into their, not a Wildcat, because he did throw a couple passes last week, 1 for 3, 28 yards. So it's not like it's foreign to him, but obviously a lot more of an emphasis on the ground game here and see how they can attack the Pirates defense that way.
And now Cassidy comes out as a receiver, lined up in the slot near side to the left. So it'll be Leonardo Guidetti to take the snap again. He grabs a high one, gives it off to Hanshaw. Hanshaw trying to turn the corner right side. He gets to the far sideline, and he goes out of bounds. He got past the 45, and I think they'll spot him down near the 47.
Well, despite the situation, that's something with a young quarterback they're going to want to try to figure out as they close out non-conference play here next week and get into conference play eventually is you have to have a bit of a ground game to try to support Guidetti and the things he can do. Because obviously he's got some talent and a good skill set for the quarterback spot, but you just need to kind of take some of that pressure off him here as the season goes on.
3rd and 5 coming up for the Huskies. Guidetti facing pressure right away. Has to roll out to the left. There's nothing open downfield. He gets sacked inside the 40. Gabriel Negron in on the stop again, as there was just nothing open down the field, and Guidetti is sacked for a big loss.
And you can definitely tell those interceptions have had an impact on him. In the first half, he may have let that ball go, but right now a little more gun shy, and he's just taking the sack. That time, not wanting to force anything down the field, and results in 4th and 14 now.
Mason Gray will come out to punt. 2 back deep to receive this for Black River. That's Austin Paymer and Hunter Varney, both standing right around their own 30-yard line. Low snap. It's picked out of the grass, and it's blocked. The ball's on the turf right around the 25-yard line. Zane Bungard came away with the loose ball, but he tripped and fell down right around the 20.
Great explosion off the line of scrimmage there by Dozier. Hendershot, as he was able to corral that since it was a low snap and get in front of it, and sets them up. And, I mean, they didn't even need positive field position like this in plus territory, but they'll take it anyway. You know that.
3rd quarter clock reads 7:23, a 37-7 lead for Black River. And outside of that opening drive, just about everything has gone their way since. So the officials winding the clock as we're getting down close to that 7-minute mark here in the 3rd quarter. Dominic Bell claps his hands together, grabs the snap. He'll keep it himself. Trying to turn the corner left side, breaks one tackle. He slips as he tries to cut back, and he went down inside the 15 at about the 13-yard line.
Can't imagine we'll see too much of that as this second half unfolds. It was the right read not to give off to Hendershot that time and keep it, but this late in the game, with where it's at, you definitely don't want to see him with the ball too often.
Next week, final non-conference game of the season for both teams. For Black River, they'll take on Smithville, and another LC8 opponent for Northwestern as they take on Columbia. So the road doesn't get any easier for the Huskies.
No, and even when they start conference, I mean, Norwayne, they're a perennial playoff team every year. It's definitely the schedule's front-loaded.
Bell rolling out to the right, looking down the field, fires for the back of the end zone. The pass falls incomplete. He was looking for Bungard again.
And that may have been one of the few times where we've really seen Bell put some mustard on it, trying to get some zip on the ball there rather than loft it to the back of the end zone. And it was the right move, just very close to that sideline, and Bungard not able to come down with it.
And, of course, with a running clock, you don't have to worry about those incompletions, stopping the clock. You could take some more chances in that regard. And as you get into that 4th quarter, too, then you start to wonder, how long do you keep those starters in the game, right? I mean, I think that's certainly in the mind of Coach Clark.
It's a tough question, because normally the freshman is who goes in when the starter comes up, but obviously QB1 is the freshman.
Varney on the carry, tried the middle, and he was stopped right away. There were 2 in the general vicinity. Jacob Ebert, one of the first ones in on that stop, and Maddox May was there to stop him dead in his tracks as well.
With how effective Black River's been able to get the ball out quickly and kind of move Bell around, Ebert, a guy, you look at his size, he's one of the biggest guys on the field. You may have thought he had more of an impact on this game coming into it, but they've done a good job kind of game planning and scheming around the size that Northwestern does have on the interior.
Offense stays on the field, 4th down and 5 at the 15. Hendershot the tailback. The pass will go right side. It falls incomplete. They were looking for Murray. That pass was thrown behind him. Didn't appear as though he and Bell were on the same page, and they'll turn it over on downs.
That's a play we've seen work a few different times tonight, but the Huskies there, they had some good communication at the 2nd and 3rd level, and it created a tight window to try to throw into. They step up for a nice stop and at least give their offense more chances here to work on a few things as we close out week 2.
4 interceptions, a block punt that they recovered at the 20-yard line. Special teams, defense, absolutely on fire for Black River. Their offense has really picked up some steam and fed off that as well. Here comes this Northwestern offense. Ellerbrock in motion to the right. Guidetti scrambling, looking for somewhere to go. He gets sacked again. He was dropped inside the 15-yard line, and we've got a whistle. We've got a flag on the play. It's Dozier Hendershot who sacked him. And we have a personal foul, a face mask going against Black River.
Well, and what seems to keep happening almost on a lot of these route concepts down the field, they're all drifting towards one side, even when they aren't moving around Guidetti back there. And what seems to be happening is if that first read's not open, it's all kind of lobbed together, and he has nowhere to look back to. And all he can really do is maybe step up into the pocket, but that hasn't really been an option with how that pass rush has been getting after him.
First down and 10 to go for the Huskies at the 25-yard line, their own 25 after that personal foul face mask penalty. Guidetti facing some pressure from Bungard, lobs it left side. The pass is caught, albeit for a loss, though, by Hanshaw. He'll end up losing a couple on that.
I want to apologize if I sound like I'm repeating myself, but Bungard once again wreaking havoc off the edge. And even if he's not getting home, I mean, he's leaving an impact on these plays, whether it's a incomplete pass or in this case just hurrying it way faster than the receiver's ready for.
Good job by Guidetti just to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Even more impressive that he got it over that wingspan of Zane Bungard coming at him, listed at 6'3". Empty backfield, a high snap. Guidetti facing pressure from his right, steps away from it, running down toward the far sideline, lobs it out of bounds. Again, nothing doing there on second down and long, and just threw it out.
And that's something right there we may see, or excuse me, Northwestern fans may see a bit more of as the year goes on, just focusing on throwing the ball away, putting it out of harm's way, and just continuing on in this current series. Obviously, 3rd and 14, you don't feel comfortable there, but it's a lot better outcome than we've seen other times this evening.
Inside of 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, running clock in play here, 37-7, Black River. Northwestern found some mojo on that first drive, but they've not been able to rediscover it since. Guidetti takes the snap and rolls to his right. Surveying the field, throws it down the field, incomplete. There were no receivers really in the general vicinity. There were 2 Black River defenders in the area. There is Hunter Varney and Zane Bungard in the area, but that was it.
Yeah, the Pirates are covering a lot of ground. Obviously, with their pass rush, their pursuit up there, but we're seeing a lot of the guys in the secondary being lurking around wherever the ball ends up or wherever he's trying to throw it.
And again, to harken back to what we've been talking about for the last quarter and change, the pressure of Black River. It's just forcing Guidetti to get rid of the ball so quickly now. In his defense, sometimes he's been able to evade that initial wave, but when he does, there's just nothing open downfield. Gray will punt it away again, low kick. It bounces at the 35, goes up to the 45-yard line, still rolling for Northwestern inside the Black River to the 46-yard line. So it gets into Pirate territory for a moment there. When it bounced at about the 35, it didn't look like that was going to stay inside inside of Northwestern territory, but a couple of quick hops, and this Black River offense will go to work again.
We've already seen them kind of rotate a few different names in there as this third quarter has gone on, but it does appear that first team offense will go out there to at least end the third quarter, and we'll see what they choose to do beyond that.
Now inside of 30 seconds with the running clock moving once again. Dominic Bell looking to his left, pump fake, fires this one deep down the left side, looking for Bungard again, and the pass is knocked away, incomplete. Riley Ramsire denied him on the far sideline.
And trying to double move that time, but going to the opposite sideline may have been a bit too much, asking too much of of Bell. Even though we've seen him show off the arm talent tonight, that was just a tad out of his range.
And that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. 3 down, 1 to go, 37-7. Black River leads Northwestern on the Lorain County Sports Network. Opening play of the fourth quarter is a handoff to Hunter Varney. Varney is tripped up, but he goes down at the 44-yard line. He'll lose a couple of yards on that carry. It has been all Black River. Going back to the first drive of this game, Northwestern had a 7-0 lead after a 31-yard touchdown pass from Leonardo Guidetti to Riley Ramsire. But it's been all Black River since. 3rd down and 11 coming up for Black River. And we did have some laundry on the play, a personal foul against Black River, so that's going to march the Pirates all the way back to their 30-yard line. A 50-yard touchdown pass from Dominic Bell to Bryce Murray put the running clock in play, making it 37-7. That's our count right now. As a result, the third quarter went very quickly, and we expect more of the same here in the fourth. Andy Bolbarch and Max Drummond on the call. Non-conference tilt here in week 2, and the Black River Pirates have had the upper hand for most of it. Pass is completed to Bungard, makes a man miss, makes a good move inside, trying to cut back outside, and he's dropped at the 44. Got close to the original line of scrimmage, and Black River staring down the barrel of 4th down and 12.
Oh, and it doesn't matter what time of game it is. I mean, that's worked for Bungard all night, picking up some nice yards after the catch, and maybe they'll give him a chance to do it here, but obviously, like we've seen, Bell can also use his legs here on 4th down.
Dominic Bell started up. Now he's dropping back as if he's going to punt this one away. Nobody back deep. Bell will punt it. It'll take a big bounce just inside the 30. It's still going inside the 10, starting to die as it approaches the 5-yard line, and that'll stop right there at the 5. That's another real nice punt by Dominic Bell. Max, is there anything he can't do?
You read my mind. He's affected all 3 phases of the game tonight. Not only affected, but he's really left his impact here, and it's a nice bounce-back game. As I think, obviously, he performed to the best of his ability against a really good team last week, and tonight with a lot of help from his teammates, they have looked great here, and a lot of positives to take away from this game this evening in week 2.
Yeah, and really some resilience. You get socked in the mouth at home on that very first drive. You find out what you're made of pretty quickly. Leonardo Guidetti will have Jesse Hanshaw with him in the backfield. 4-receiver look again. Guidetti will take the high snap. The handoff to Ramsire. Ramsire got that handoff at the end zone. He's able to take it out, spins away from one defender, and he works his way up close to about the 14.
An impressive gain right there, and maybe that's a way they'll look to use him here in future weeks. As obviously Ramsire has been used more on the perimeter as a receiver, but right there, hands on the ball, got to find a way to get him the rock as many times as you can.
Guidetti surveying the field. His pass is completed across the middle by Ramsire. No, he couldn't hang on to it. Looking for Ramsire, and that ball fell to the turf.
And it's been that kind of night here for this offense, as they've had some nice plays, but just consistency, it's eluded them, and even here in the late stages, they can't seem to put together for more than a few plays at a time. And also that Black River defense, they're a big part of it, of course.
3rd down and 2. They're at their own 14-yard line. Guidetti will hand this one off to Hanshaw. He's got 1st down yardage as he goes straight up the middle, and he's tackled at the 18 for a pickup of 4 yards. Well, there haven't been many positive plays for Northwestern the last couple of quarters, but Jesse Hanshaw is able to pick up a 1st down.
Yeah, and just seeing that happen here is it's crucial heading into practice next week, and like we talked about, a few of those tough opponents, so you're going to need that confidence as high as you can get it right now.
Pass goes out in the flat to Hanshaw. He can't handle it. The pass falls incomplete. He heard the footsteps of Hunter Varney, who was right in the area.
I was about to say it may have been better off that he didn't haul that one in. Varney came in like a missile that time, and he almost wasn't able to let up there, but good job there putting the brakes on.
Down to 7 minutes and 30 seconds to play in this one. Black River will go to 1-1 on the year, and Northwestern will fall to 0-2. This time it's Grady Ellerbrock lined up in the backfield with Guidetti. Guidetti will hand it off to him, but he gets pummeled right away. He's drilled by Tion Simmons, a 5'10", 230-pound senior lineman who wrapped him up and brought him down.
I mean, he looked untouched in the backfield on that play. Like if he was a couple steps faster, he may have taken the handoff for all we know.
Coach Clark mentioned that they rotate a lot of bodies in along that defensive front. And they have been pretty fresh up there throughout the night, all kinds of penetration.
Oh, it showed, and each of them have kind of made their own play on each drive or helped impact a stop.
Pressure coming again. Guidetti will step up and run. He goes down at the 15-yard line. Just kind of stumbled forward, wasn't able to pick up much. And 4th down coming up again.
And unfortunately for the Huskies, there hasn't been many other options besides that. As you know, you just got to take care of the ball at this point in the game and do what you can to pick it up and move forward on to the next week.
Gray on to punt it away again. Mason Gray's been very busy tonight. The heels of his own end zone. He'll kick this into the air. High kick, a spiraling kick. Hunter Varney will call for the fair catch and make it at about the 43. At the end of the game tonight, we have the Zabo Apparel Company Player of the Game. It's game day all year long, and make sure you are game day ready all year long as well with Zabo Apparel Company.
They do a great job making sure we're ready for every game that is thrown at us on these weekends in the fall. As anytime you see us out at a stadium, we're usually decked out in gear provided by Zabo.
Right now, the decision isn't too crazy difficult for us. We both have a candidate to tell Sam Sovacool to go tracking down on the field when this game is over. Sam's a busy man, getting us the hot dogs at halftime, tracking down the player of the game at the end of it. They put 3 men in the backfield, and the ball goes straight up the middle to about the 41-yard line. That was Dozier Hendershot, who picks up just a couple.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think Sam, he's probably gets more steps in once he gets to a stadium than he's had the whole day leading up to it. And the speed he does it with as well.
Oh, look, that's that Westlake speed, man. One of the Demons' best track and field athletes of all time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right. Very, very proud runner over there.
They ought to rename the track after him.
Yeah, I think he mentioned it to me. He was a little jealous that week one the other stream crew was able to go over there for Midview and Westlake in their matchup.
3 men in the backfield again. They'll hand it off left side. This will go to Murray. Murray tiptoes the near sideline. He's still not down as he picks up about 10 extra yards after a nice little stutter step. Getting close to the red zone. He's right on the cusp of the 20-yard line.
And I think he was back in the second quarter. We talked about how he had the longest gain from scrimmage, I believe, or at least the most rushing yards that the Pirates saw last week. and we've only seen him touch the ball twice on the ground. Haven't really needed him to, but it's always nice to know that they've got that in the back pocket for him.
To your point, 23 yards rushing last week in a game where they had a tough time getting things going on the ground. They've been able to run it, and they've been able to throw it tonight, no doubt about that. Oftentimes been working with a bit of a short field because they've been so good defensively. I mean, those 4 turnovers, tough to overlook. Dominic Bell will give it to Hendershot again. They tried the gut with the big fella. He pushes the pile past the 20 to the 19. And there are some things I think you can still learn about yourself when you're down 30 points in this scenario. You know, which guys want to get out of here and get on the bus and which guys are going to keep fighting until they see zeros on that scoreboard.
Yeah, that's very true. And, I mean, obviously your play can do the talking, but also your body language and just kind of how you're communicating with each other. I think that's something that always can stand out, not just to these coaches, but to the fellow players, you know, whose head is still in the game and is trying to keep everybody's head up.
They'll give to Hendershot again. Wasn't much there initially, but he's able to fight for some extra yardage up to the 16th, so he picks up just a couple. And now we're inside of 3 minutes left in this fourth quarter clock. And the old saying is, learn the lesson, leave the event. And I think it's at that point now where you know the end result here. What do you take from that and apply to next week when you take on Columbia, which again will be a very difficult test?
That is true. And I mean, last we saw they were in a tie ball game with Fairview. It was a very solid group. So no matter how Columbia comes out of that, whether winners or losers of week 2, you got to be prepared to face their A game.
They'll hand it off to Hunter Varney, right side. Able to work his way inside the 10, and he stumbles forward to the 8-yard line. That'll be enough to give that chain gang a workout one more time. And for Black River, you know, talking with Coach Kyle Clark a couple of days ago, and I said, you know, how are things going through the first week of practice? And after that first game, he said, look, Hillsdale is an unbelievably good team. You know, when you start the season against a team like that, you know, you learn some things. He said, I feel great about our chances the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, you get to see also up close what a state title contender looks like, as they went all the way to the title game last year, and kind of measure yourself and tell the guys, look at how it kind of operates on a game day and some of the discipline you're going to see and things like that.
Victory formation for Black River. Dominic Bell, I think, only has to take one more knee to officially put this one away. And the end result will be a 37-7 win for Black River. But you're right. And I mean, to be the top team in the LC8, since the LC8 was created, history tells us the road will go through either LaGrange or it's going to go through Columbia. Those have been the only 2 teams who have ever won the LC8.
Yeah, it's a remarkable stat, and I mean, one thing Black River can claim, though, is they snatched a conference title from Columbia a few years ago. You mentioned that game earlier in the broadcast. So we'll see what these Pirates have in store for us the rest of the season.
They did force a 3-way tie, but Columbia did have the tiebreaker, so they were deemed the conference champion. But you're right, that's a win I'm sure these guys have never forgotten, because that was a bit of an upset towards the end of the season. All right, that final knee was taken. The final 10 seconds will come off the clock. We'll step aside for just a moment. We'll come back to wrap this one up for you. Again, 37-7. Black River a winner over Northwestern on the Lorain County Sports Network. We welcome you back out to Sullivan here at Black River High School for our Legacy Home Finance Game of the Week. Your local, reliable, trusted lender is Legacy Home Finance. Final score in this one, Black River 37 and Northwestern 7. Andy Bullbarch and Max Drummond with you to wrap this up on the postgame show. Again, make sure you dial up WOBL and WDLW to find out all the scores from across the area. John Guzik has you covered until 11 o'clock tonight. He'll let you know the final scores and much, much more. He'll talk to some of the players and coaches in the area as well. Well, a one-sided contest in this one, Max. The scoreboard tells you as such, but it didn't look that way at the very beginning of the game.
No, it certainly didn't, and we alluded to it a couple times throughout the broadcast that Black River, I mean, they really had to respond there to some adversity, and as a whole team, their defense started making some big stops after an opening drive that looked like they wouldn't be able to buy one, and then on offense, I mean, they really found a flow and nice rhythm with this freshman quarterback, Dominic Bell, who I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot more about as the season goes on if he keeps up this kind of performance. Speaking
of Dominic, he is the player of the game, brought to you by Zabo Apparel Company. Be game day ready all year long with Zabo Apparel Company. Well, we figured coming into this game that Dominic Bell would have his hands all over this one. He definitely did. The 90-yard pick six, which really shifted the momentum in this game. Because it's important to note that, yes, it was 7-0 at the time in favor of Northwestern, but they were also driving down the field. They had the ball inside Black River territory when that pick six happened. But, again, you could just feel the momentum shifting when he took it to the house.
Yeah, he really flipped the game. And it's one thing if you're a great enough player to make a play like that and intercept it, but you take it to a whole nother level when you're able to change the outcome of this game in a way. I mean, obviously, with how effective they were the rest of the night, you can't really forecast that, but you never know what might happen if you don't take advantage of that and show off that ability.
He also threw 3 touchdown passes in this game, too. He threw a couple to Bryce Murray, one to Zane Bungard as time expired at the end of the first half. So he was responsible for 4 touchdowns here tonight. That is an outstanding game by that freshman cornerback and quarterback. We figured, again, that he'd have his fingerprints all over this one, but he just impacted the game in so many different ways.
Yeah, it's really a special thing. I know here at the LCA we expect to see a lot of guys play both ways, but that doesn't mean they're always going to stand out the way he did. And that puts him in some real special talk as just a 9th grader.
Couple of candidates for our Valley Chevrolet Drive of the Game. It's brought to you by Valley Chevrolet. Keep on driving with Valley Chevrolet in Wellington. And we can throw some love the way of Northwestern because that was a very impressive opening drive to get things going here tonight. 73 yards on 7 plays, and they get into the end zone for the only time tonight on a 31-yard touchdown pass, and they get it into the waiting arms of Riley Ramsire, a name we called quite a bit here tonight, but I think if Northwestern had their way, we would have heard that name a lot more.
Yeah, it almost felt like Black River knew coming out of week 1 where he was the leading receiver that they were going to go his way a lot, and after that first drive they realized, okay, we got to try to rein him in a bit, and that they did. And he only touched the ball 4 times on offense by the end of the game, so they definitely accomplished that.
Let's take a look at those final numbers. Our stats are brought to you by Al Januzzi CPA. It's all about the numbers. What final numbers stand out for you?
Well, certainly to do him justice, Dominic Bell finished the night 11 of 19, up 192 yards, and then the 3 touchdown passes, and obviously tacked on the pick 6 as well. His leading receiver on the night, Zane Bungard, the senior, 7 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown as he picks up right where he left off last week as he almost got over 100 yards there. And then finally, Hunter Varney, 8 carries, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he didn't get maybe as many touches as some of the other guys, but he took advantage of every single one.
Yeah, it was really a collective effort. So many different guys got involved in the game for Black River tonight, and that'll give them some momentum moving forward as well. 37-7, Black River a winner over Northwestern in this one. Just a couple more moments here. We'll wrap things up, and we'll remind all of you to listen to John Guzik on WOBL and WDLW. He'll take you up to 11 o'clock tonight, and he'll let you know the final scores from across the area. He'll talk to the game-winning coaches, some of the players as well. Lots to recap here in week 2 of the high school football season. Next week, the Lorain County Four Horsemen will be traveling to Avon Lake. I don't know if I'll be with you guys or not. It all depends on what the Grapist Show on Turf has in store for us this weekend. They could be home next Wednesday. They could be home next Friday. I don't know. I hope I'm sitting there with you at Avon Lake next Friday night. As much as I sometimes dread running up the 700 flights of stairs to get up there, it's still a pretty awesome place to call a game.
Yeah, I may have to practice with a few bleachers of my own throughout the week leading up, but when they welcome in Highland, a team that we've seen in the playoffs many times clash with Lorain County teams, it should be an exciting one, and hope you're able to come along with us.
Great stuff. Well, again, Black River wins this one here tonight. We got a running clock in the second half. They win it in a big way, 37-7. Max, any final thoughts from you before we say thanks and say goodnight?
Well, it's always exciting to explore different sides of these conferences, and I was really happy to see Black River in their first breakout game of the season here, and look forward to many more Friday nights here. And hopefully, if I had it my way, it would continue to feel this way all the way through the end of the season weather-wise.
Great stuff. Well, again, you can hear from us next Friday night, whether it's Max, whether it's me, or someone else. I know for sure Max will be here. Hopefully I'm here with you guys also. But it was just so great to be back up here and reunited with the Lorain County Four Horsemen. Hopefully we'll be back together again next week. If not next week, I'll be back with you again in a couple of weeks, my friend. Great stuff as always. Big thanks to the entire broadcast team. Sam Sovicol working the camera and putting the Westlake track and field characteristics of his and talents to good use here tonight. Running down the hot dogs at halftime, running the player of the game shirt all the way down to Dominic Bell on the field. So good job out of Sam all night long. El Capitan, the director of our ship, Edwin Vereen, great job as always. My thanks to Max Drummond, my color commentator, full of his hard work as well for everything he provided here tonight, both on the air and off. Big thanks to both head coaches who joined us and were kind enough to give us all the information we needed to prepare for this one as well. And a huge thanks to Coach Rob Clerico and company up here in the press box for their help and hospitality and preparation for today's game as well. The biggest thanks goes to all of you for tuning into this one on the Lorain County Sports Network as well. One final time, your final score, 37-7. Black River defeats Northwestern. For Sam Sovicol, Edwin Vereen, and Max Drummond, this is Andy Bolbarch saying thanks again for tuning in to tonight's Lorain County Sports Network Game of the Week. You'll hear from us again next Friday night.